Stand up! New York Giant fans. Took a little hiatus. We had the bye week, and then it was my birthday week. So we're back. We're doing the show every week the rest of the way, obviously live streaming the games. But Baddog, good to see you, my man.
You too. Hope you had a fantastic birthday, brother. I hope you enjoyed the game. Obviously, you must have. They won, so that's always a good thing. But I hope you had a great birthday weekend and absolutely enjoyed it. Many more important things than YouTube, like a birthday. So I'm glad you got to go out and enjoy that, man.
Listen, man, it couldn't have went much better. My birthday weekend consisted of a Giants win, an Eagles loss, and a Cowboys loss.
Happy birthday.
Doesn't get much better than that, Baddog.
No, it doesn't.
Doesn't get much better than that.
Does not.
Let's say hello to a couple people in the chat. What's going on there? Ray West, man. What's going on there? Jacob, man. What's going on there? Toba, diehard Giants fan in the chat. Cy Guy in the chat. Ordinary Pete in the chat. Yeah, Spike the like. Appreciate everybody for being here. Chris Bass in the chat. Nick Bavis in the chat. World Heaviest in the chat. What's going on there? Michael, thank you to everybody for being here. I appreciate it. But yeah, first thing I want to start with tonight, Baddog, and I think you made a video on it. I didn't get a chance to watch it, but obviously a pretty big story. Giants finally changed the turf.
Yes, I did. I did make a video on that today. And yeah, man, people may be wondering why I'm making videos. Yeah. So, it's funny. Somebody jinxed me. Tuesday night, I'm doing my stream. Guy says to me, "Are you sick?" And I said, "Why the hell does everybody think I'm sick? What the hell is going on?" He said, "Oh, you're sniffling a lot." Yeah, I have COVID. Maybe go figure that out.
You do?
Yeah, go figure that out. So the funny thing about it is I don't feel sick, but I've been really tired. Like last night, I went to bed at like 10 o'clock. I did not wake up until 10:30 this morning. I don't sleep like that. So yeah, so whoever, maybe they knew better than me. I got fine, but yeah, I tested for that. And yeah, sure, of course.
I had it about 3 or 4 months ago. I was out of it probably for about 3 days, and then I felt like myself after that.
Yeah, like I said, I feel fine now. It's just like yesterday, yesterday for me to be tired at not at like 10 o'clock and to actually go to sleep and then not wake up for a long time. I mean, I tested yesterday, so it made sense. But it's going around my office. And I was just like, let me just test just to be sure. And yeah, sure. Of course. So whoever, I forgot who that was. He asked me if I was sick, but you know better than me. I think little guy's got it because he's got a fever. So that's, just a lot of personal.
Hopefully everybody feels better soon.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
But what'd you think, man? So basically what came out with the Giants today, they're going to finally change the turf. Now they're changing the turf for other turf. I forgot the name of the type of turf that they use, but I actually looked into it a couple of weeks ago because I was considering making a video on it at the end of the year. So I was just curious. Forgot the name of it, but basically the way they described it, it's basically like recycled turf, and there's only like 5 other stadiums in the league that use it, and it's supposed to be much more dangerous than the one that I'm assuming we're going to replace it with. Now the players reportedly wanted grass.
I wish they would just go grass.
Yeah, but they're not going to do that. I'm at least we got something.
Yes. Yeah, and just to finish my point, I did the video on it because I actually thought that was a kind of a big story.
I think it's a huge story.
I didn't really, there hasn't been a lot to talk about, but to me, that was and again, what I talked about is just being excited for the future. To me, it looks, it's a small thing, but small things go a long way, especially with how bad we've been. And I talking about how, to me, John Mara at the end of last year, I think he just he took a lot of blame, which I respected. The Giants have been an embarrassing organization, and he pretty much said so. And, I think that's why he's given, Joe Shane and Brandon Brown and Brian Dable a lot of autonomy, allowing them to make the decisions. And I think John Mara is looking at things going, what, we have to change this. I don't know if it's just John Mara, because obviously the Jets play there too. So it's good for the Jets, but a lot of players outside the organization also complain about how dangerous that turf is. So that's huge. I'm glad that they're changing that for sure. So.
And yeah, that was the name of it, by the way. I saw Charles Barkley in the that was the name of it, slit turf. That's the turf type of turf we had. And apparently we're switching to premium turf like the Cowboys. So I'm just glad there's a change. There's just been way too many injuries. And I've never been a guy that said that it's even mainly the turf probably, but it's a factor. And if it means that it saves 1 or 2 injuries a year, even, it's worth it. So
right.
I'm glad that the New York Giants are doing it. And
And like I said, the Jets too. The Jets will be happy. They play there as well. And one thing I mentioned, Chris, and I mean, I don't know how much of a difference this makes. Obviously, having a good team will help. But I think if you're trying to get some free agents in here, and they're going to look at that turf and go, "Oh, they fixed the turf. The turf is better now. I ain't got to worry about breaking my kneecap on the turf." Maybe that also helps draw some free agents in here.
Yeah, and listen, I think the main and they talked about how Julian Love had a lot to do with it because he was very outspoken.
Yeah, he's the player's agent. So
yeah, and several other players on the Giants this year have been outspoken about it. Barkley's mentioned it. Odell, not that he's a Giant, but he mentioned it. I might have been Sterling Shepard mentioned it. There's been several Giants that have come out and talked about it. So I'm glad that they're making the changes. It's better than giving us a medium Pepsi. I think fans like this a lot more. So I'm happy. I'm excited that they finally made that change. And yeah, I thought it was a big story. The only reason I didn't make a video is because I knew we were going live tonight and we would talk about it. But yeah, I think it's a big story. I don't know who told you.
Listen, I'll be honest. Being home the last 2 days, as much as I would love to be retired and not have to work for a living, I am so bored. I feel like a damn caged animal. Like I said, I've been to the gym in 2 days. I was like, I got to do something. Oh, perfect. I can make a video.
Oh, I think a lot of the at least I was when I saw it come out. I was excited. We've been talking about that. We've been talking about that on our channels on these shows. People have asked us about the turf for the last 2 or 3 years. When are they going to change the turf? When are they going to change the turf? So they did it. Well, they didn't do it yet, but next year they're going to do it. So they're making the change, and that's great news. Great news. We're going to talk about last week. Obviously, I didn't get a chance to call the game with you. Recap last week. We'll talk about the game coming up ahead, and obviously we got Thanksgiving after that with the Cowboys. So a lot to look forward to if you're a Giants fan. Absolutely. Patrick, man, he says, Chris, Baddog, question. If the Giants make the playoffs, when they make the playoffs, do they need to score more than 20 points to compete? I can't stand these commentators, man. I'm going to tell you what, Patrick. Listen, each game is different in itself. The New York Giants won a Super Bowl scoring 17 points against the greatest offense in the history of football, or one of the greatest offenses in the history of football with the New England Patriots. Each game is in itself. It's matchup dependent. You have to play to your strengths. The New York Giants' strength is not getting into shootouts. So I don't care who they're going up against. They want to slow down the pace of play. I'm watching the Thursday night football game before we come on live, Bad Dog. We're like the Titans of the NFC. That's our style of play. Grind out the clock, have long drives. You saw them have a 10-minute drive, I think, in the second quarter where they didn't get any points, but that's what they do. That's their identity. That's our identity. Giants aren't going to change their identity. That's the way that they're built right now.
Well, listen, the Titans have made a couple of, they made an AFC title game, and they were the number one seed in the AFC last year playing that style of football. I mentioned in the video today as well because I also incorporated Joe Judge saying Daniel Jones was tough, and how a lot of people just are giving Daniel Jones saying they can't win with Daniel Jones throwing 17, 20 times a game, throwing for 200 yards, but like you just said. We're not supposed to get in shootouts with people. We don't want to play their game. We want to make them play our game, which is like Parcells did in 1990. The first play of the game, you're running out the clock.
Yeah.
We are a team that is a smash mouth. Like I said, just like the Titans. And even before we went to half, and I'm watching this because I have Christian Watson on my fantasy team. I just picked him up. He's got a touchdown.
He's been on my fantasy team all year. I've had him on the bench because it's a keeper league. I drafted him. And I didn't start him this week, and he scored another touchdown.
Yeah, I just grabbed him off the waiver wire. But they said right before the half or right at the end of the half, the Titans are playing their game. It's ugly. And that's what they want to do. They want to win ugly. The Giants want to win ugly. I just don't understand why. I can't figure it out. To me, I just want to win. You and I, this is our 5th year doing this show, Chris. All we ever talk about is how much we want to win football games. I was so sick and tired of losing. That's why I was so pissed off in all my videos. That's why I rant in all my videos. And I felt like I had a reason to. I was mad as a fan. And why are we so freaking bad? This year, we're 7-2. So, I'm giving guys the benefit of the doubt when they're not playing well, or I'm trying to pump them up because there's positive vibes in the building now as opposed to negative vibes. So, as a fan, I just want to win football games, man. I don't care if we win 10-7. I don't care if we win 45-42. That'd be more exciting, of course. Dude. But a win's a win. And any win's exciting to me because we haven't won a lot in the last 5 years. I think
the best teams find a way to play to their strengths, and not every team is built the same. Last year, the San Francisco 49ers playing a very similar style of football were this close to going to a Super Bowl. I saw the New York Jets beat Tom Brady with Mark Sanchez at quarterback, playing a very similar style to football that we're playing right now. And they went to 2 AFC title games playing in this method. We don't have a Super Bowl roster. We know that, but we're not going to change who we are. That's just silliness. You have to play to the strengths of your football team.
Absolutely.
And, obviously,
Did anybody give the Commanders a chance on Monday?
No.
Did the Commanders win the game? How did they win the game? Did Heineke throw over 400 and I missed it? They beat the best team in the NFL by cramming the ball down the throat. That's something we can do very well.
Yeah.
We have to play to our strengths. That's our strength.
Right now, Barkley's our guy. We got to keep rolling with him. Joshua, thank you very much, man. Julian Love pushing for a change with the turf is just another example of his leadership. Hope the little one feels better, Bad Dog.
Thank you, sir. He's all right. He just, again, I think he's tired too. Like I think he got big bad dog's cold is what I think he got. So nothing really serious. He's got a little bit of a fever. He gave him some Tylenol. So, but I appreciate it.
He'll be good. I don't think kids are as affected by it. At least that's what I've heard. I don't have a kid, but they say they're not, like older adults are much more affected by it.
Yeah, it's funny because, like I said, I really don't have any symptoms. I guess I'm a little congested, but I don't know. I always sound this way to myself. So hell knows. Just the tired aspect of it, and I had a scratchy throat, which is kind of what prompted me to take the test just to see. But yeah, I appreciate Joshua. He'll be all right.
He'll be all right. You'll be all right. Everybody will be all right.
Kid, man. He bounces back.
As far as the Julian Love thing goes, yeah, I mean, listen, I fell in love with Julian Love. Well, I've always liked Julian Love, but I fell in love with Julian Love, no pun intended. And before the year started, when you saw how emotional he got when he got named the captain, you could tell that it meant so much to him. And he's played great this year for the Giants. He's going to be back. That's pretty obvious. They're going to sign him to a contract extension. But yeah, apparently he was the guy that really pushed for this for the Giants, and I think Giants fans should be very appreciative of it. Phenopolis, man, thank you very much, man. Do not trade Slayton for cans of Coke. I was wrong. You can't. Right now, Slayton's our best wide receiver, Bad Dog.
A lot of us were wrong about a lot of things. I just say this. That's a fantastic Greek name, by the way.
Yes.
Absolutely. But, I always say it takes a big person to admit they're wrong, especially somebody that doesn't need to, that doesn't make videos. So shout out to Fino NF or whatever. Oh my God. Finopoulos.
I just say Finopoulos.
I think I got it right. Finopoulos. But again, it takes a big person to go, you know what, I was wrong. So shout out to you. I think a lot of us kind of gave up on Darius Slayton. Not because we didn't like Darius Slayton, but he kind of seemed like the forgotten man going into the year. He had great rapport with Daniel Jones' rookie season, kind of fell off the last 2 years as everybody seemed to under Joe Judge.
Yeah.
But he was making a lot of money, and they had Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard was there. You had Kenny Golladay, and you drafted Wan'Dale Robinson. So he was going in as wide receiver 5. And you're paying him a lot of money. We were cap stricken. It looked like he might not make it there. He took a pay cut, and that shows leadership on his part too. I'm glad he's succeeding. And like you said, Chris, right now he is our best wide receiver for sure.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, he's our best wide receiver. It's not even close. And hopefully we can keep it up. We need all the help we can get. It's certainly not coming from Kenny Golladay. He had another crucial drop this past week. And who knows with Slayton? I mentioned it on Twitter, I think last week. And this is just me thinking from like the mind of a GM. Only good things could come from Slayton now because one, either A, he continues his good play. And like you said, he has a really good rapport with Daniel Jones. He likes it. He likes Brian Dable. He fits the scheme and he comes back on a relatively affordable contract. We all know we're going to need all the wide receiver help we could get next offseason. Mm-hmm. If we bring back Slayton, that's not going to prevent us from drafting a receiver or trading for a receiver. And he comes back on a cheap contract. Or B, because suddenly becomes the number one option for the New York Giants, he continues to put up good numbers. He continues to impress around the league. And we all know we're going to spend the majority of our cap space retaining our players. He signs somewhere else, gets a hefty contract. I'm not saying he gets, $20 million, but he gets a decent-sized contract, and we get a compensation pick for him. So I think only good things could come from Darius Slayton continuing to play well. I'd love him for him to be back. And I think the main reason why I wasn't even against Slayton coming back. I just didn't think he was going to come back because of the money. The money. Right. I knew that the New York Giants needed to cut players. And I'm going to be honest with you, Bad Dog. And I've said this in the past. I think you've said it too. If Colin Johnson never gets hurt, Darius Slayton's not a New York Giant.
I agree. I think Colin Johnson was making this team.
Yeah, and I think they
doubt.
would have cut Slayton to save the money.
Very possible.
Slayton
Very
obviously
possible.
took a pay cut to come back, but I think Johnson was making this team, and they weren't going to cut Kenny Golladay. So who are they going to cut?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it could have been Sills, but all reports were that they love Sills. They said that he was going to start in training camp. So I think that's the way it was trending. And I don't think Slayton's on this team if Colin Johnson doesn't get hurt, if I'm being honest with you.
No, I agree.
Christopher Spires says, I don't want to build my team long-term like the Titans. Nobody's suggesting that. But we're talking about this year's team, Christopher. You could change the dynamic of a team year to year. We realize we're not a Super Bowl roster. We realize we need to have premium weapons in the offseason. We need to have wide receiver help. We need this offensive line to continue to mature. And we need to become a more dynamic, unpredictable offense. But right now, you got to work with what you got. And what we got right now is a good defense. I'm not even going to say great, a good defense. We'll talk about some things I didn't like last week with the defense, but a good defense. And we've got a team that could pound the rock. And we got a quarterback that could pick up key third downs in big spots.
Yeah, and the other thing is we're not making mistakes. Like, we're not beating ourselves. Again, you give Seattle credit. We had a tough time. It's a tough place to play. I think the Giants were tired. I think a lot of it had to do with that. But we made mistakes in that game. That's not something we do. We had a lot of false starts in that game. Obviously, the two critical Richie James fumbles on punt returns led to 10 Seattle points. Game may have been different had we not had those fumbled punts. We'll never know. But I look at the way the Giants play football and know it's not sexy and know it's not exciting. But with the way they play, they're in every game. Minnesota is 8-1, and I believe they're 7-0 in one-score games. So they're another team. Chris, you put this on Twitter, and I agree. You're kind of seeing the NFL revert back to the way it used to be, where it's a lot of running. And not as much throwing the ball down the field. There's a lot of teams that are doing that these days.
I'm going to show you this stat, Baddog. I showed it in my video, but I didn't go into I didn't mean to cut you off, but you reminded me. I didn't go into extreme detail of it in my video, but I made a video the other day where I talked about the running frequency in the league and how it's a trend in the NFL. I just want to make sure I get the stat here. Here it is. I'm going to show you a year-over-year difference in how dramatic the trend has changed this year in the NFL regarding the run and how teams, and I think it's a direct reflection on teams seeing what the Buffalo Bills were doing and seeing what the Kansas City Chiefs were doing in the playoffs last year and saying, we can't beat these teams playing this way. We need to change things up. We need to do something different. This is the rushing percentage in the NFL right now. The top 7 teams in the league, 48% or higher. There's 6 teams, 50% or higher. You go back to last year, and by the way, Chicago's at 60%, Atlanta's at 56%, Titans at 54%, Giants at 54%. You go back to last year, there wasn't a team over 50%. Not one. The Eagles were number one at 49.87%. 2020, there was 3 teams over 50%. 2019, there was 2 teams over 50%. 2018, there was 1 team over 50%. And it just goes on. None in 2017. You got to go all the way back to 2008 to see 6 teams that ran over 50% of the time. So it is obvious that there is a shift in philosophy from teams around the league.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, if we start playing somebody else's game, we're not going to win because we're not equipped to get in these shootouts with these teams. So we have to win the way we've been winning. Again, maybe that disgusts some people. I don't know. I just think some people are just dead set on getting another quarterback in here. For me, he's done enough. He doesn't need to be, I've said that for years. He doesn't need to be Patrick Mahomes. He just needs to be the best version of Daniel Jones he can be. He has nothing around him outside of Saquon Barkley. He certainly has no great wide outs. His best wide receiver, can't hang on to the ball. The most talented wide receiver we had was traded away. He's been thrown to a lot of practice squad guys, a lot of guys that would not make a roster on his, in the league. And he's done the best he can with what's around him. So I'm just happy we're winning football games, and we're going to have to continue to win that way. You don't want to start throwing the ball around against Dallas. You certainly don't want to throw it around against Philadelphia. So If teams are going to give you that, I mean, it's not saying don't ever throw the ball, but so many people are like, oh, he's missing throws down the field. Listen, I can't see. I don't go back and watch the film. I watch the game. Maybe he is missing throws down the field. I don't know. But what I do know is he's not turning the ball over. We're still winning games. I don't care how we do it. And I will continue to say that. I don't care how we win. I don't care how much we win by. I don't care what his stats are.
Yeah, and I'm going to speak to
more points than the opponent.
I'm going to speak to what OVO had to say because I think I saw him comment this in my video too about the money thing. I'm going to get to that comment in a second regarding Daniel Jones. But listen, I agree with you. And for everybody that says he misses a throw here or a throw there, I'm sure he does. Break down the film for every quarterback in the league. Every quarterback misses throws. Every quarterback misses a play here or play there. So he's playing well, guys. He's doing a good job with what he's been provided with this year. Just going to read a couple of these member chats before I forget them. L.A. Lou, man, thank you for being a member. He says, just echoing the obvious, key to a Giants W is run the ball and pass as a change of pace. Win the time of possession, keep the line. That's what I've been saying. That's what we've been saying all year. That's the strength of this football team, Lou. And Dire Giants fan, thank you very much. Says, well said, L.A. Lou. Yeah, he couldn't have said it better. Chris, man, thank you very much, man. My guys, the following could be up for contract negotiation. Daniel Jones, Barkley, Slayton, Love, Lawrence. In what order of priority would you put them? Well, first off, Dexter Lawrence is on the contract next year, but it's only on a 1 year. It was the 5th-year rookie extension. So I think they're going to extend him at year's end because if you're Dexter Lawrence, the year that he's having, if you're the Giants, get it done with. You don't want to hit free agency next year and allow teams to potentially sign him. And if you're Lawrence, you don't want to risk getting hurt and not having any long-term security. So I think they're going to extend Dexter Lawrence at the end of the year. I'd be surprised if they don't. Mm-hmm. In terms of the priority, I personally think Love, Barkley, and Jones are all coming back. And Slayton, I don't know. But I think Love, this is dependent on they make the playoffs, which I think they're going to. I think those 3 guys are coming back. Maybe Slayton comes back as well. I don't want to set a priority. I think they're all coming back. I think they're all going to be part of the priority. I guess Jones is number 1 because he's the quarterback. It's the most important position.
I agree.
But I think they're all coming back. So we'll talk. I guess throughout the stream we'll talk about the ideas of what they could do with contracts. But I think every guy you mentioned on that list outside of Slayton is a sure thing, or at least close to a sure thing to be playing for the Giants in 2023.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's how we talked about this before, Chris. It's how you build winners. You build them through the draft. And granted, Dave Gettleman had some good draft picks. It's just they were not developed correctly under the correct situation. These coaches came in and got these guys playing at their best by not even close. That's not a Barkley. I mean, Barkley's just healthy. Barkley's been a great talent his whole career, but these guys have stepped up big under this regime. And that's what you want to do, though. You want to be able to draft your players, keep the players you draft, and then draft more players. And that's how you build your core. Then you go out there, because if you can do that, you're not giving, and you have to let some of these guys go, you're going to get more compensatory picks and you're going to get more draft picks. That's how you build championship teams. Then you add those big pieces here and there when you have the cap flexibility because you've drafted well and you have a lot of guys on contracts. So, not that those guys are going to be on rookie contracts, but yeah, I would think that all of them would come back. Darius Slayton, I think it would depend on.
I think it depends on his market.
I think there's a good possibility he does.
Yeah.
I would like to see. I don't think there's any big name free agent wide receivers. I wouldn't want to pay a wide receiver a ton of money. We just did that with Galladay. We're not
going to do it. We're not going to do it.
No, cut Galladay's ass. I know we're going to get a cap. We're going to get hit with a dead cap of $14 million, but we're going to save $7 million. I'm like, take that $7 million and give it to Darius Slayton. Give him Galladay's money. Draft a wide receiver. I think they're drafting a wide receiver. I really do. I think their first pick is going to be a wide receiver. It's a deep wide receiver class. But yeah, I would imagine all 4 of those guys come back. Julian Love was named a captain. You don't name a guy a captain if you don't think he's a future of the team.
Yeah.
And Jones and Barkley, when they're both healthy, obviously they play well enough to win games. Barkley certainly helps Jones. And if we actually could ever get some wide receivers that are a threat downfield, Saquon Barkley would be even better, if that's even possible. So, yeah, I think all of those guys are a priority, but number 1 would have to be Daniel Jones. As much as
the quarterback
may not like that, he's the quarterback.
Yeah,
it's the most important position on any football team. So
I want to speak to Daniel Jones now because I see OVO says the money. Nobody's suggesting giving Daniel Jones a 5-year commitment. Basically, what we're I think what most Giant fans are suggesting, giving him a short-term commitment, maybe a 2-year commitment, continuing to build the rest of the team around him and seeing when he gets a better supporting cast, whether or not he can evolve into that franchise quarterback. And if he doesn't, as the team improves, you go and make your move. I think that's what most people are suggesting that want to keep Daniel Jones. But I've seen a lot of people, Bad Dog, say, why would you bring Daniel Jones back for 25, 27, 28, 29, $30 million a year, whatever it is, on a per year basis? First off, it's only a short-term commitment when you could bring in a guy like, I don't know, name like a journeyman guy that you could pay $10, $12 million. This is the reason. You're starting to build up a winning culture. You're starting to build up a winning locker room. And you're getting these players to buy into what you're doing. If you replace Daniel Jones with Mitch Trubisky, or if you replace Daniel
Teddy Bridgewater
with Tyrod Taylor, or if you replace
Jacoby Brissett,
whoever it is, a journeyman quarterback, a Jameis Winston, whoever, this team, if you don't think these players believe in Daniel Jones, you're kidding yourself. I don't care how you feel about him as a New York Giants fan. If you don't believe in him, these players believe in Daniel Jones. He's a captain of the football team. If you make the playoffs and win 11 games, you don't replace him with a journeyman quarterback to save $13 million in next year's cap. You don't do it. You bring him back.
Right, because he's your future at that point.
I think a lot of fans, when they just think about the money, they don't think about the other aspects of retaining these players.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, we're going to have more money as the years go on. There's no question about that. So you got to think about that too. You got to think about in 2024, we'll have more cap space. The cap goes up 10% every year. You're going to be able to renegotiate contracts, or you're going to let some guys walk. Some of those bad contracts are going to be gone. Galladay will not be there in 2024, so you'll save all that money. You're going to get hit with the cap next year. But again, you have to look at the future, not just next year, but going forward, because when you're building a franchise, man, you want that team to be the Steelers, the Ravens, a team that's competing every single year for a championship. And you can only do that if you retain your players and have good drafts. And that's what we have to do. That's what Joe Shane and Brandon Brown are here to do. So Daniel Jones, to me, I've said this a million times, beginning of the year, somebody says he's coming back. I said, there ain't no way he's coming back. Ain't no way. He hasn't played well. They didn't pick up his fifth-year option. They don't believe in him. Now I think they do. So,
and I'm going to tell you what, the fifth-year option to me means nothing, because here's why. They would have had to pay. They would have to commit $22 million to Daniel Jones, I think it was, if they retained him on the fifth-year option. So a lot of fans just automatically said, well, because they didn't do that, there's no way he's coming back. To me, if you're Joe Shane, what is the incentive to commit $22 million that you cannot move around, by the way? That's not like if you sign a guy to a 3-year contract, you can maneuver the money around. If you if you sign him on a 5th-year extension, $22 million committed to next year's cap no matter what. Coming off an injury, a guy that you have never seen play in your system, why would you commit that? Now you let him play the year, and you could extend him, say, to a 3-year, $80 million contract. $22 million doesn't have to go against next year's cap. You could put in bonus money. There's ways to maneuver cap money. When you saw, what did Christian Watson have a big play?
Yes, he scored another touchdown.
when you sign like
but I was watching that play happen.
When you sign like a 2 or 3 year deal. So to me, it never made sense to sign him on the 5th-year extension. And I don't think that has anything to do with whether or not they're going to bring him back or not. I think they wanted to see what he could do. And so far, they like what they have seen.
Listen, Chris, we talked about this. They were playing with house money with Daniel Jones because he's not their guy. So you don't start the clock on Daniel Jones. You don't start the clock on your own regime when you have someone else quarterback. You don't go out there, especially this year. The rookie quarterback class stunk. It wasn't good. Kenny Pickett definitely looks like the best of all of them, but it was not a good class. You're not taking a quarterback this year. And maybe we talked about too, if the Giants had a terrible year and they won 3 or 4 games,
they were taking a quarterback.
Top 5, then you take your quarterback.
Yeah.
But they had an opportunity. Okay. And Joe Shane came in immediately and Dable came in immediately. He's our guy. He is the quarterback. We're going to evaluate him and we're going to see what he does. And a lot of people said, oh, they're definitely letting Daniel Jones go because they didn't go out and trade for a wide receiver. And I said, I think it's the opposite. I think they're looking at what Daniel Jones can do with what he's got. And they believe in him.
Or they already know what they got with Jones and they don't need to overspend for a wide receiver.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
They're like,
I agree.
Yeah, they're like, we don't need to commit draft capital that we don't feel comfortable with.
We'll use that draft capital and get him a wide receiver.
Yeah, so that's the way I looked at it too. But everybody looks at things differently.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mighty Mango.
Like I said in the video today, Chris, as Giants fans, we look at the way we want the team built. We look at the way they play football. We look at the quarterback. We look at whoever. Everybody's got a different opinion. There's millions of Giants fans. We're not always going to agree on everything. But I do think one thing that all Giants fans can agree on is we're thankful that damn turf is getting changed. That is the one thing I think every freaking Giants fan and Jets fan on the face of the planet could say, thank God they're improving that.
Thank God.
That's one thing we can all agree on, I think.
Thank God is right. Mighty Mango, thank you very much, man. Mighty Mango in the house, stocked up on Captain Morgan. Keep up the good job. Go Big Blue. Let's go, Mango. Thank you so much for being here, buddy. Thank you. Patrick Tizzle says, Chris, could you go on ESPN and commentate, bro? That'd be cool. I don't think that...
one of these days the Manning cast ought to have us on.
I don't think they'd want me on ESPN. I get a little too into it sometimes.
No, the Manning cast is good though.
The Manning cast would love us. Manning cast would love us, but could you imagine us doing play-by-play on like traditional ESPN, doing the games, putting the shades on, screaming?
I always say it's a compliment, but I certainly couldn't get away with 4:20 to go in the third quarter. 4:20 crew, because you got it. I don't think I get away with that, or I don't think I get away with dropping an F-bomb or saying you suck, Holiday, or whatever. Yeah, it'd be a little difficult.
Yeah, a little different.
Tone it down.
Little different. Patrick, man. Oh, I just read that. And NY Giants 26 says, I'm pro extending DJ. 18 Dexter gonna get back. Well, both of them are definitely getting extended, I think, at the end of the... Well, I mean, you don't know. Like Shane said in during the bye, it comes down to the players, too, whether or not they want to sign the extensions. They may want to test free agency. Who knows? But if they want to sign extensions, I think Shane will extend both of those players in the offseason. It only makes sense as far as Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence go. Both long-term pieces, obviously. And, yeah, I'm definitely... Not a long commitment quite yet to Jones, but I'm definitely for bringing him back for the 2023 season.
Yeah.
And NY Giants 26 says, it won't let me send a member chat. Bad Dog working on becoming a member for your channel. Want to support you both more. Thanks for everything. No, thank you, man. Thank you,
man. Appreciate it.
And I hope you're feeling well. I know that you said you got surgery on NY Giants 26. I hope everything's going well with that.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
And Lou says, the more YouTubers Shannon Sharp, Steve Smith, and others hate Daniel Jones, the more and more I love DJ. You couldn't have said it better, Lou. I'm going to tell you that right now. And listen, I've always loved DJ. I mean, obviously, I didn't love him on draft night. I didn't love the pick, but he's a Giant. He's my quarterback. I'm always going to support him. But, yeah, it gives me it reminds me of Eli, because I'm going to tell you what, every time I see this guy getting what I at least feel, and everybody's got their own opinions, unnecessary hate, over-the-top hate, it makes me want to love him more. So I think that resonates with a lot of Giants fans.
I don't understand. Like, I mean, I was very critical of Daniel Jones the last 2 years. I felt it was warranted. I didn't feel like he played well. And I've said this, it doesn't matter who the player is. If they don't play well, I'm going to say it. And if I think they played well, and it's just my opinion. I always think it's funny that people get so mad at it's just my opinion. I'm like, why are you getting so mad at me and insulting me personally just because you don't agree with what I'm saying? Like, why do my words get some people so mad? Well, I don't know what more you could ask of him this year. He's throwing to scrap heap wide receivers, man.
And he's got a crappy line.
Chris, he had almost a perfect quarterback rating last week.
I get it, man.
I don't understand. Oh, he only threw 17 times, right? But he threw for almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and 17 attempts.
Hey, dog. Wait. Let me just get.
I never thought I'd be the guy here sticking up for Daniel Jones either. To be honest,
let me calm down before I flip out. Chris, calm down. There are Giants fans all over Twitter, all over YouTube, all over social media platforms complaining that the New York Giants ran a lot against the worst run defense in the NFL when the New York Giants have the best running back in the NFL. Make it make sense, Bad Dog, because to me, that's common sense. Our strength is running. They are the worst run defense in football, and people are going to complain because we ran too much, and we won the game.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. We were running the ball down the throat. We didn't need to change anything. You said it best on Twitter. I think you said, I'm going to be the old guy now. Fantasy football has hurt the football fan. Yeah. And that is an absolute fact. They're so worried about stats because of fantasy football. It's all about the stats, the stats, the stats. I play fantasy football, and it's funny. I haven't had a good year in years. Neither have the Giants. Having a great year this year, and so are the Giants. It's pretty ironic how that's happening. But I don't care, man. If Daniel, I don't have any Giants on my fantasy team, okay? But if I had Daniel Jones on my fantasy team, or if I'm going against the guy, say the Eagles, we're playing the Eagles, and I have Devontae Smith on my fantasy team, I don't want that guy to have any catches for any yards. Yeah. I want to lose my fantasy week if it means the Giants are winning, because I care more about the damn Giants than I do about winning a fantasy football. That's just me. I grew up in the 80s, so that was not a big deal back in the day. We didn't have Madden football. We had Tecmo Super Bowl, which was fantastic. It's still the best football game, in my opinion. But we didn't have all that stuff. It wasn't shoved down your throat. It was just a different time. So maybe because I grew up that way, it's just the way I am. I just want to win games, man. I don't give a damn how many yards Jones has.
I think about it like a boxer, Bad Dog. People want, and I made that comparison to Floyd Mayweather as well on Twitter. People want the Giants football team to be like Mike Tyson. But they want the Giants football team to go out there and just rip your head off and throw haymakers and try to knock you out.
Just on the ground.
There's different ways to win a boxing match, and there's different ways to win a football game. Mm-hmm. The Giants aren't equipped to be Mike Tyson. The Giants aren't equipped to be a boxer that goes out there and knocks your head off. The Giants have to out finesse you. They have to play defense. They have to come out smart. They have to come out with a good game plan. We
gotta be like the Karate Kid.
So there's different ways to win football games.
Yeah. When do I learn how to punch? As soon as you learn to keep dry, as Miyagi dumps him into the water, because he wanted him to practice defense first. That's kind of like the Giants. We counterpunch. That's really what we do. That's why we're such a good second half team. We have made great adjustments in the second half of football games, and that may be by design. It may not be, but this team just seems to find a way to do it week in and week out. I couldn't be more proud to be a Giants fan. It's been a long time. I always love the Giants, but it's a long time where I wear my stuff proudly and go, yeah, this is my team. And I don't give a damn. I like the way they play football. I like the way they're winning games. The 1990 Giants are my favorite team of all time, and that was not a sexy team. I can tell you that right now. They ran the ball, they played defense, and they didn't turn it over. It's kind of what this team does. Just win games.
Well, it's what all.
At the end of the year, Chris, if we did win a Super Bowl, and I'm not saying that's happening, but if we did, if we went on a magical run and won this year's Super Bowl, are fans still going to complain that Daniel Jones, well, we won the Super Bowl, but Daniel Jones only threw 19 times. He can't be the quarterback of this team. What did we do in Super Bowl 25? We held the ball for 40 minutes.
What do we do? What do we do in the Super Bowl in Arizona when we played the undefeated Patriots? We had a 10-minute drive to start the game. We run the ball.
Right.
Whatever.
That's what you got to do.
John, man, thank you very much, man.
Like I said, you win by playing your strengths. Our strength is running the football. Maybe in a couple years when we get Daniel Jones, a better interior offensive line, and some wide receivers that are explosive and have talent and don't sit there and feign injury or can hold on to the ball, maybe we do open it up a little bit more. But right now, we
will. If we get that, we will open it up.
Dable's like, this is what I have. This is the way we're winning games. Why am I going to change it? Why am I going to get cute and try to outsmart everybody? It's one thing to know a game plan. It's another thing to stop the game plan. No, everybody knows what they got to do when they face the Giants. And 7 out of 9 times this year, it hasn't worked.
Yeah. You got to execute. John, man, thank you very much, man. Top wide receiver free agents are supposed to be T. Higgins and Jarvis Landry. Well, Jarvis Landry is old. I don't want him. Yeah. I think Shane will say no, thank you, and draft wide receivers with DJ. I wouldn't mind him getting 3 or $70 million. I think that's. I don't know what he's going to get, but I think it's going to be a contract similar to that. I mean, I'd be interested in Higgins. I don't know why the Bengals would let him go, though. I mean, he's a good, very good young wide receiver, so I'd be interested in him. But depending on what his market was, and he's young, but I think I could see the Giants trading for a wide receiver. You've seen a lot of teams do that in recent years.
Somebody mentioned this to me. It might have been on my Stream Tuesday. Might have been in the comments section. I think it was Stream Tuesday. What about trading for a guy like Davante Adams? Somebody mentioned that name because the Raiders stink.
Yeah, they
If
screwed up this
you
year.
like the Eagles traded number 18 overall for AJ Brown. If we're picking 22nd, would you trade the 22nd overall pick for a guy like Devontae Adams? Now, Devontae Adams makes a lot of money.
Contract's absurd, yeah, but
that's the problem.
But he'd help.
Yeah.
We'd basically be doing the same thing the Raiders did, and we would hope that it worked for us. The Raiders last year had an unexpected season. They made the playoffs. Not many people thought they would, and they went out there and they got card Devontae Adams.
I actually did think they'd make it last year.
You did, but most people didn't. And this year it went up in smoke. So we'd basically be doing something very similar. I mean, listen, if we got Devontae Adams, I'd be excited. But like you said, his contract is insane.
It's a lot of money.
But contracts are only going to get higher. So
AJ Brown got a lot of money. So
yeah, it's an interesting topic of conversation. I don't know if they would trade
but
him.
It would be a guy like that. That's the only way I'm trading a first round.
Yeah. No, I'm not giving up a high draft capital unless I'm getting maybe a DK Metcalf. Like I got to be getting a young.
He's another guy with an absurd contract. But all these receivers are the contracts are absurd at every position these days.
Yeah. Josh, man, thank you very much, man. Says I believe in Vanilla Vic. Yeah, everybody loves that nickname now. That seems to be coming back. I don't know, Danny Dimes or Vanilla Vic. I don't know which one people like more.
Danny Dollars is Patricia.
Danny Dollars. Yes. Patricia Trainer calls him Dollars. Yeah. V-Man says, guys, who are your picks for the awards at this point? In the NFL? All right, let's start, Bad. Give me your coach of the year.
I mean, it's Brian Dable. There's no question.
I'll go over the people in contention, but I agree it's stable. I know V-Man. I think V-Man's a Jet fan.
Robert Saleh's in contention.
I think he's in contention too, and I think Pete Carroll's in contention.
Vikings head coach is in contention.
Yeah, O'Connell, Sirianni, but I
the guy down in Miami.
Yep. What's his the guy they got from the 49ers? I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but yes, the offensive coordinator. But yeah, I think I'd go Dable. MVP. I think it's Mahomes.
I was going to say probably Pat Mahomes. I don't think he can go wrong there.
Yeah. I think it's Mahomes. I'm trying to think of who else it could be. Let me take a quick look at the stats around the league. But I think it's got to be Mahomes, right? I mean, what he's been able to do, even after losing Tyreek Hill. Yeah, it's clearly Mahomes. He's far and away the MVP. All right, let's go with another one. Let's go with defensive player of the year.
A lot of guys saying Tua. Tua could be in there.
Tua deserves at least some consideration.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
Tua's been great.
Yeah, I'll give him some consideration. Yes, but I'm still going Mahomes.
Yeah, I think you got to.
Give me your DPO, your defensive player of the year.
I mean, I don't even know. I haven't paid much attention to
Matthew Judon has 11.5 sacks.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know that. So
Parson,
he's got one there.
Probably Judon. I mean, right now he's on pace to break the sack record, or right there with New England. So he's probably the defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Offensive player of the year. So that's usually excluding quarterbacks. You gonna go Saquon?
He's definitely in contention. I don't think there's any question about that. AJ Brown, although he didn't have the best game last week, but he's been really good. Tyreek Hill.
Justin Jefferson.
There's Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, mate. I mean, that could be the guy. He's ridiculous.
He's incredible.
He's ridiculous.
Yeah. I might go Saquon, though, man, because what he's been able to do on this team with no help on the outside, right? We all know a premium wide receiver helps a running back. And at best, an average offensive line, what he's been able to do and carry the load for this Giants team, like, I feel like I might give him that award.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's definitely up there.
He's comeback player of the year, in my opinion.
100%. I mean, you could say Geno Smith, but what is he coming back from?
Right.
Like he's coming back from the bench. I don't know how they judge those awards. But those would be my picks.
Speaking of awards, Aaron Judge won the MVP.
Deservedly, absolutely. So. Well deserved.
Deservedly.
But those would be my picks, V-Man, off the top of my head. I'm sure rookie of the year, that would probably be
Dameon Pierce is really good.
Yeah, offensive rookie of the year. Defensive would be the guy the Jets have. Greedy.
Sauce
Gardner, rather. Yeah. So those would be the picks. Emilio, man, thank you very much, man. Greg Cosell has seen the film and praised DJ. I'll take his word any day over the so-called fans who complain he is missing throws. You guys are the best. We appreciate it, Emilio. Thank you very much. I mean, Archie Manning said the same thing, right? There was a article of him today
Archie also said he'd like Odell Beckham to reunite with the Giants.
He did say that too.
You know, Chris, before I got to talk about Odell Beckham for a second because I want to get your take on this.
Yeah.
They say, oh, it's a coin flip between Dallas and the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
How are we affording Odell Beckham? Like, I hear this coin flip stuff, and I said the only feasible way I could see him being a Giant in 2022 is if he says, I'll sign a 1-year veteran minimum deal. I'll play the last 5 games or 4 games with the Giants, and then I'll test free agency in 2023. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
I agree with you. I know fans want me to say and want you to say that we're going to get Odell because I get it. He's very popular, especially with the younger Giants fans, and I understand it. He was there, Tiki Barber for me. He was there, Eli Manning for me, the player they grew up loving.
And we've been a horrible team. He was the only thing to watch.
Yeah, so I understand it. But does it make sense for what his market's going to be? Probably not. We don't have any money. We're a team that's still young and still trying to build. And he's a guy coming off with two ACL tears who's 30 years old who could get probably more money somewhere else. And I'm sure there's a way they could structure the contract where they don't have to pay him too much this year, but then you're cutting into next year's cap space when you have to retain a lot of the players on this team that are going to be free agents. To me, it doesn't add up. It would be great. I know it would excite the fan base. I'd be excited for it because I know people would love it. I don't think that's the route they're going to go. I'm not going to say there's no chance because I think there's at least a small chance, but I think it's very small. I don't think he's going to be a Giant.
Right. No, I don't either, but I was just curious how the media is this. It's a coin flip thing. It's not a coin flip unless Beckham says it's the only coin flip he can say. Do I want more money to play for Dallas? Or I take less to play for the Giants. That's his coin flip, I guess.
But why would he do? Why at this stage in his
I don't know why he would do it.
Yeah, coming up.
That's why I don't understand where the coin flip thing is coming from. To me, I'm sitting there going, we have to be.
I think he's going to be a Cowboy. And if you had, and I know Giant fans don't want to hear that, but
I don't want to hear it either.
And if I was Beckham, if it wasn't a Cowboy, I'd go to the Chargers because I view the Chargers. They got a really good young quarterback with Herbert. They have injuries at the wide receiving core. They're still in contention to make the playoffs. I think that's a really good fit for him.
He did say he'd like to play in a warmer weather climate. So I do know that.
That could make sense too.
I don't know. Much warmer than Los Angeles. That's a pretty nice climate out there.
But I don't know what their cap situation's like either. So I have no idea. But I don't think it's going to work with the Giants. I maybe I'll be wrong. And if I am, I am. But I'm with you. I'd be surprised if the Giants sign him.
Yeah.
And Sports Bias, man, thank you very much, man. Cheers for doing the stream, bro. Drives much. Yeah, that's right. You did ask me to do it. It's just coincidental because this was the day that Baddog and me could do the stream tonight, but it worked out. I remember you telling me you wanted to do the stream on Thursday, so we'll be doing this for about another hour and a half. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you for all the continued support on the channel. Everybody that's here, thank you. Desmond, what's going on, man? It is simple. Daniel Jones is a Giant, so I hope he does good. I don't want the quarterback of my team to do bad, period. I mean, who would? And I understand it. I don't think, well, I shouldn't say that. There are certainly some fans that want him to do bad if they want to call themselves fans. There are certainly some fans that want him to do bad because they want him replaced. But most fans that do not believe in Daniel Jones don't want him to do bad. They want him to do good. They want to be proven wrong.
Well, I've said that. You can fan however you want. I'm not the fan police, man. I don't tell people how to root for their team. I don't tell people how to root for their players. But I do have, if you want the Giants, if the Giants are really bad and you wanted them to tank, I have no problem. I can't root for them.
But they're not really bad.
If we're 2-8 and you want us to lose the rest of the game, I understand. I don't understand fans that would rather say, I told you I was right and have the Giants lose, though. I don't know how you root for your team to lose just to go, I told you. I'd much rather go like I have been doing all year. Hey, wrong about that. I was wrong about Daniel Jones. I was wrong about this team. I didn't think they'd win. I thought they'd win 7 games the entire year. They're 7-2. I didn't think Daniel Jones would be back. Wrong about that. Thank God I was wrong about that. When I say something bad about the Giants, I want to be wrong about it. I don't want to be like, I told you.
Baddog, let me ask you this. And I think, and maybe some fans disagree. If you're Joe Shane in the draft, we picked 25th. Some fans just think a quarterback's going to fall to 25 when 12 other quarterbacks picking in front of us will need a quarterback. That's not happening. If we want a quarterback, we're jumping into the top 10. To jump into the top 10, you're going to give up the 25th pick. You're going to give up a first-round pick in the fall. You're going to give up what they gave up to get Mahomes when they jumped up from 27 to 10. You're going to give up your first-round pick this year, your first-round pick next year, and your second-round pick. That's what you're going to have to give up to make that jump.
So
do you want to make that jump?
Do we have enough players on this team to go, we can get rid of all those picks?
Exactly. It's not apples and apples. It's apples and oranges. That Kansas City Chiefs team had gone to the playoffs for 3 years straight.
Exactly.
That Kansas City Chiefs team was already developed. That Kansas City Chiefs team was already, I think they were the number 1 seed or number 2 seed in the AFC the year before that.
Right.
With Alex Smith. So it's apples and oranges.
And Pat Mahomes was able to sit for a year.
Yeah. So does that make sense to me to trade up to get Anthony Richardson at 10th overall?
You don't want him anyway.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing his name out there because it's not going to be Stroud more than likely, and it's not going to be Young because they're probably going to the top 2 or 3.
It don't matter. There's a better quarterback than all of them.
I know.
For Washington,
he's in 2024.
Michael Penix.
Oh,
I love that.
That's not who I was thinking of, but I was thinking of
Love
Caleb
Michael
Williams.
Penix. I still don't want him on the Giants.
By the way, I've been watching a lot more college football, especially the later games because I'm bored at night. Michael Penix has a very good arm. Michael Penix has a very good arm.
I
watched him play a game. I forgot who he played. It was a really windy conditions, and he was putting zip on that ball.
He's good, man.
He's got a good arm.
I mean, Stroud and Bryce Young get all the accolades, but I'm telling you, I said this since the beginning of the year. If you're up at 10:30 and Washington's playing, watch Michael Penix. The kid can play.
He's got an arm. I'll tell you
that.
He's got an
arm. He's mobile. He's a lefty. It just looks so beautiful. It's so effortless the way he just slings the ball. Yeah. Tight spiral. You want a tight spiral playing in the Meadowlands or the MetLife because of the wind? Not that I'm saying we're going to get Michael Penix, but
he's got a good arm.
You never know.
But the guy that I'm in love with is the guy that played for your college the year before, who's not.
Caleb Williams. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but he's not draft eligible.
Yeah, he's not draft eligible. I don't want to take quarterback this year, but he's a guy he's the only quarterback in college right now. If he was draft eligible, that I would give up everything to get.
I would too.
He to me is like,
I love that kid.
He's like could be Pat Mahomes. I'm not saying he could be that level, like that elite level of quarterback.
Chris, he's got strong ass arm. He's athletic as hell. He's a big kid, but I will go to my grave with this play, and not that anything really ended up out of it, but I'll never forget that game against Kansas when the Oklahoma went for it on 4th and 1 from midfield, and they were stuffed. They handed the ball off. They were stuffed. Caleb Williams, true freshman, ripped the ball out of the running back's hands so he could advance it and get the first down. That was one of the highest football IQ plays I've ever seen. And again, that's from an 18-year-old kid. I love Caleb Williams. And obviously he's not draft eligible, but yes, I feel
he's
like
he's a monster,
absolute superstar.
If you're not a college fan, and I just watch him because I know we're not taking him. He's not draft eligible. I just enjoy watching him play.
Yeah.
If you're a football fan and you have not watched Caleb Williams play, next time USC's on TV, watch that dude play. That's a quarterback.
I don't know if Washington and USC have played one another. That'll be a damn good
That'd
one.
Be a fun game. That'd be a fun game.
But yeah, that was the one thing I was extremely concerned about as a Sooner fan. And the Sooners are absolutely garbage this year. But when Lincoln Riley left, I was scared that Williams was going with him because Caleb Williams can play. Good.
Yeah. And Michi, man, thank you very much, man. He says if DJ was putting up Allen stats and we were 2-7, everyone would be complaining about. But we're 7-2, and DJ is playing great, putting up decent stats, and everyone is still mad and complaining. Listen, like Bad Dog said, and I'm not saying every fan that argues is this way, but there are certain fans that are going to move the goalpost, and they will never admit that they were wrong. They're going to continue to, so they'll change their argument, and that's what I've said. So. Before he got knocked for turnovers, he doesn't turn it over anymore. Before he got knocked for not winning football games, now he's winning football games. The Giants in their last 18 games are 9-9. They're 9-3 with Jones. They're 0-6 without him. They're
right. He can't lead them down for a victory at the end of the game. He's got no clutch.
Yeah, he's got 5 game-winning drives. So now they turn to the game manager stats. But the fact of the matter is, if you're being completely honest with yourself, there might be 2 quarterbacks in the NFL that with this roster would not be asked to be game managers.
Man,
like with what we have. You're thrown to Isaiah Hodgins as your number 2 option, and you have an offensive line from the depths of hell outside of Andrew Thomas. So, and you're learning a brand new scheme. So, what do you expect? So, it's people move the goalposts.
Mm-hmm.
Emilio, man, thank you very much, man. Tane, I tweeted your vid of AT laying guys out. Beast. I'll have to look at that after, man. If Twitter's still available. People were talking. I don't know if you heard about that. People were talking about that Twitter might get shut down tonight.
Really?
Yeah, because I didn't read into it, but I saw like all the beat reporters like Art Stapleton, Patricia Traina, who we're going to be on live with tomorrow. We're talking about, they were like giving out all their contacts, like Instagram and whatever. And then I looked into it, and it supposedly it's a national story. I don't know much about it. I think Elon Musk like laid off a ton of Twitter employees, and there's like fears that it may shut down tonight or tomorrow. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to actually happen, but that's the word right now that it could happen.
What would people do without Twitter?
I don't know. I think I'd just be active on Instagram or something.
Well, I have Instagram, so it's
Yeah.
okay.
I would probably just resort to that, but Twitter's just so convenient for me. I just go on there, I type some words, and I'm done.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now. It just doesn't. Just says Twitter employees head for the exits after Elon Musk's extremely hardcore work ultimatum.
Yeah.
So Elon Musk is making them work, and they don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if it's going to shut down or not. But I doubt it. I doubt it, but we'll see. Nick, man, there are much.
He'll be back up regardless.
Do you guys know what happens if both the Jets and Giants get home field advantage in the playoffs? There's a small chance that happens.
Yeah, they don't play on the same day.
Yeah, exactly. One would play on Saturday, one would play on Sunday.
Or they would play in the AFC and NFC championship games. If they both ended up being the number one seed in their conference, one plays at 3 and one plays at 6:30, so they would just play the same day.
Wow.
But they would just schedule them different times. Even if they had to both play on Sunday, they would just schedule them at different times.
They'd have to do a lot of work to the field because that would be such a disadvantage to the team that was playing
especially with that crappy turf.
Yeah, that would be.
I'll tell you what, Nick, let's find out.
That would be a great problem to have, Nick, that I never thought about.
Yeah, I'm sure Jets fans would sign up for it too.
Listen, Nick, I'd love to see the Jets do well too. I never hate the Jets, and I'm happy for their fans. They're playing really well this year, so that'd be great. Love to see both of us playing meaningful football at home. For the Giants to have a home playoff game, I mean, they got to win this division, Bad Dog. So can they do that? Can they win the division?
Well, I said after the Eagles lost, we have destiny in our own hands. I mean, we win games. We can do it. We play the Eagles twice. We certainly have the chance. We play the Cowboys. We could knock them back a peg, knock them 2 games behind us. Got Washington twice. It's right there for the taking. We just have to do it. It ain't going to be easy, but we have to do it. I can't believe Ryan Tannehill just threw the Titans are ready to put this game away, and Tannehill threw a terrible interception.
He's got the ball.
And knock on wood, that's the type of mistake Daniel Jones has not made this year.
Definitely not.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, no, I agree with you. It's slim right now. I think, but we have a chance. But I think for me, and I said it in my video like 3 days ago when I talked about it, I think for me to like really believe like this can really happen, we got to win our next 2 games. We got to beat Detroit. And if we beat Dallas on Thanksgiving, well, then you say to yourself, even if the Eagles win their next 2 games, if we beat the Eagles that next game, we're in first place because we don't own the tiebreaker.
Correct.
And if you have, and if you're in first place after that game with 4 games remaining, I think it would be, or maybe it'd be 5 games remaining. How could you say you don't have a chance to that? So if we go into that Eagles game where we're a game behind Philadelphia, which would mean we win the next 2 games, we absolutely have a chance at that point.
I'm going to say this right now. If the Giants beat Dallas in Dallas, and they find a way to beat Philadelphia, then obviously there's no team in this league we can't beat. And that's the way I look at it. Let me ask you, Dallas and Philly, then I'm going to start raising my expectations of the hell with making the playoffs. We need to make a deep run in the playoffs.
Let me ask you.
Because the NFC is not the toughest teams in the NFC are in our division.
I was going to say, I still think the Niners are the most talented, but they have not clicked. They have not clicked. If the Eagles are the best team in our conference, which most people would say, why can't we win? Why can't we? It would be a slim, but you're telling me we can't beat the Philadelphia Eagles? I just saw Washington run all over. I just saw Damian Pierce run all over him the week before with Houston.
Just watched Antonio Gibson and Brian Robinson run all over him on Monday. That's why they went out and got Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph. They know. I mean, I don't know how the hell they keep signing all these guys. I don't know. They must print money in Philadelphia. I really don't know how the hell they get all these players.
I know.
But think about it. They went out and they traded. They got Quinn, and they got somebody else, and it still didn't matter. Yeah. It still didn't matter. They still were able to run all over them. That's the way you got to beat Philadelphia anyway. Keep their offense off the field.
Absolutely. Because if you don't, they're going to control the clock with their running game.
And you don't want to get in a shootout with those guys.
And when they
play a faster paced game.
They're basically the Eagles. What makes the Eagles so dangerous from an offensive standpoint, they could do exactly what we do. That's what they did last year. What we're doing this year is what they did last year. They're fully capable of doing that. But after they got A.J. Brown, which hopefully we get our A.J. Brown next year, and they have Devontae Smith, now they're capable of taking the top off of defense too, so they could beat you both ways. And that's what makes them so dangerous.
I think their passing game succeeds because they do have the threat of the run. But I think if they're forced to pass, I think that I
agree with you.
It bodes as well for them.
I agree with you. If the Eagles have to play from behind and you could force Hurts to play from the pocket, they're in trouble.
I don't. Hurts is definitely taking a step forward this year. But I agree. If they become one-dimensional and you force Hurts to beat you from the pocket, that's going to be your best opportunity to stop their offense. If you let Hurts get outside the pocket, use his legs and his mobility, and let those guys, he extends plays, and you allow A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to run around out there, you're in trouble.
They haven't played from behind all year. They've dominated in the first half all year, and they've fallen apart in the second half. So if you could get ahead on them, you got a chance. Nick, man, thank you very much. Do you guys know what happens if both the – I just read that. Chef, what's going on, buddy? Hopefully you hit on some of your tight end bets. I haven't been paying attention if tight ends have been scoring first. He says, my 4-game parlay this week is all money line. Titans, looks like you're going to win that. Who are the Browns playing? Let me take a quick look.
I can probably look here.
Browns got the Bill. Wow, you took the Browns. It's in Detroit now. Well, good luck with that. The Browns against Buffalo. He's got the Colts against the Eagles, and then he's got the Falcons. I actually think the Colts could give the Eagles a tough game. And then he's got the Falcons. Where are the Falcons? Got the Falcons home against the Bears. I think the Falcons have a good chance to win that game. But
I don't know, man. The Falcons' defense is awful. They have no pass rush.
And the Bears
Justin Fields has been on fire running the ball.
Yeah, Bears have been playing better. I don't like the Falcons. I'd probably pick the Bears, but I could see the Falcons. I think the Colts are going to actually give the Eagles a tough game.
All I know, Chef, is if you hit that parlay, you're going to cha-ching. So that's all I can say about that.
I think the Colts are going to give the Eagles a tough game. I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I think that's going to be a closer game than a lot of people think because the Eagles have been struggling against the run. The Colts have a good line. They got Jonathan Stewart.
Who's back,
who's back, and they got a pretty good defense. So I think the Colts will give them a competitive football game. Let's put it that way.
I hope that the Colts beat them. I can tell you that right now.
I think they got a shot. I'm going to tell you what, if the Colts win that game, Jeff Saturday is going to win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, I'll vote for him.
Jeff Saturday. He comes in his debut game, beats the Raiders, and then he beats the Eagles. Game 2?
Yeah.
How funny would that be?
Yeah.
L.A. Lou, man, thank you very much, man. You don't need Devontae Adams. Trade for a guy like Robert Woods or Sammy Watkins. More affordable and upgrades your receiving core.
I would not want those guys. I wouldn't want either one of those guys. They're middle of the road guys, Lou. When I'm talking about, I'm talking about like an absolute top tier wide receiver. I don't think trading for, because I think you can get guys in the draft that are better than Robert Woods or Sammy Watkins, and they'd be younger on rookie contracts. I was just talking in general about, like, somebody mentioned Devontae Adams, and I know the Eagles went out and traded for a number 1 receiver. So I don't know, but I wouldn't want those guys.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe if it was like a 6th-round pick or something, but yeah, I agree. I'd rather just draft a wide receiver at that point. I don't view either one of those guys as a guy that are going to help open up this offense.
Like Devontae Adams to me is a game-changing type of wide receiver, like A.J. Brown was for Philadelphia. Woods and Watkins would obviously upgrade, but anybody would upgrade our wide receiver. I'm just looking for that true number 1 receiver.
I'll throw out another name, and I don't think he's quite a number 1 yet, at least. But he may be on a team at the end of the year, depending on how the rest of the year unfolds. that could be looking to ship away pieces and maybe start a rebuild? How about Michael Pittman with the Colts?
Yeah,
Is
he's
he
not a
interesting?
bad one either.
I could see it. I could see the Colts
I
trading the
liked
young.
Pittman coming out of college.
Yeah. What is he? What it is year 3 for him, right?
I
So
thought Pittman and T. Higgins went in the same draft for some reason.
and I
Maybe
think
Pittman went the year before or the
and I don't
year
think he was
after.
a first round pick. Was Pittman a first round pick? I don't think he was.
I think it was a second. I think it was the beginning of the second round.
So this would be his last year. Next year would be his last year in his rookie contract. So just a name I was thinking about earlier today.
Yeah.
And Peter, what's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here, man. Carl Banks said it best. There's only 4 or 5 true game changers at quarterback. That's why the league is moving back to the run. Of all the other quarterbacks, Jones looks quite good. We can win with DJ. I agree with you.
I agree with you too. If you're looking at 5 true game changes, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes right away, probably Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, maybe Tua, maybe.
Yeah. I don't think Tua is a game changer. I think Tua is in a game-changing situation.
Maybe.
He's got the 2 best wide receivers arguably in football in terms of
He's got some good ones, but I mean,
he's playing great.
So take Tua out of it. Am I missing somebody? Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow.
I don't even know if Burrow's a game-changing quarterback.
He's good.
Again, Burrow's in a game-changing situation for me.
He's good, though.
He's good. He's very good. But I don't know if he's in the same level as the other guys you mentioned. But
no, I don't think he's. Nobody's Mahomes and Allen.
Yeah.
But Rodgers has fallen off. Wilson's fallen off. Brady's fallen off.
Lamar's good.
Lamar's good.
Deshaun Watson could be good. We haven't seen him play in a couple of years.
I don't think Dak is like
Trevor
Dak's
Lawrence
good, but I don't think he's a
become
game changer.
Trevor Lawrence could become one of those guys.
Yeah. But right now he's not. He's on
right now he's not.
Team. So
yeah, there's not many. Chris, man, thank you very much, man. He says they ND to use 26 and 31 on the field together weapons. Oh, I think you meant to say they need to use 26 and 31. Yeah, Chris, I talked about it on Twitter this week. I think I've talked about it on YouTube as well, maybe when I was on Mike's channel earlier today. At the beginning of the year, Baddog, the first half of the season, the Giants were using a ton of multiple back sets, sometimes 3 running backs at the same time. They have not done that in recent weeks, and that's something that I think they should get back to, because I think when they only have Barkley in the game in the backfield, they have to use him as a blocker because you need help with the offensive line. If you put multiple backs out there, maybe it's a way to get Saquon Barkley more involved in the passing game. And I'm not saying use it a ton, but I'd like to see him use it more. I feel like they haven't used it in the last couple of weeks.
I was just going to say, it feels like they really haven't used Saquon in the passing game, like set up those screens and everything else, try to get him the ball out in space, but maybe they don't believe that the line can get out there and pull and lead block. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I just remember at the beginning of the year, there was not a lot, but there were times where they'd have 2 running backs in there, 3 running backs in there, even at times at the same time. I think back to the Breida catch, I think on the right sideline, I think that was a 3 running back set. I think back to the Brightwell run on 4th and 1 where he picked up 25 yards. There were 3 running backs out there for that play. I'm not saying do it a ton, but I'd like to see a couple of times this week where maybe they do try to utilize multiple running backs at the same time.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. I think you did put it on Twitter. Barkley ran the ball 35 times, so it is very possible. And I mentioned in my video too, because I think against Detroit, they have a very poor run defense, but they have a very good offense. And again, this is the same type of thing we're doing all year, keep their offense off the field. But yeah, I think between Breida and Barkley, you should see 30 to 40 carries, unless Detroit completely stuffs it, which I don't see happening. So
maybe Brightwell too. Brightwell could get some carries.
Yeah, I think the Giants are going to go run heavy again. I don't think there's any reason not to. If you're able to run the ball for 4, 5, 6 yards at a rip, there's no reason to stop. Everything works. You tire down the opposition's defense, keep their offense off the field. And if their offense is off the field, they can't score. And if you're running the ball effectively, you're not going to turn the ball over. You're not getting 3rd down and 12s and 3rd and 13s where that type of thing can happen, where you're forced to throw or you get sacked because the defense can pin its ears back and blitz and go after the quarterback. So you stay ahead of the chains and make it 3rd down and manageables, especially with Barkley in the backfield and Daniel Jones' ability to run himself. That's when the Giants are at their best. So there's no reason to change it. Like I said, if we're 3rd and 2 because we're running the ball effectively, no matter who it is in the backfield, It could be a triumvirate of those guys. Could see Earth, Wind, and Fire this week, Chris. If there's a such thing as bringing I don't know who's.
Could use Jones.
I think Saquon's all three of them personally, but
yeah,
could
use Jones's legs too more this week.
Right. So you're able to run the ball effectively. Just keep running the ball. It also opens up the RPO. It opens up play action pass. It opens up a lot of things.
And Nick, he says, can you guys talk a little bit about my favorite Giant? I never got to see how good Jason Seorm was before his injury. I was too young. He's your favorite Giant? You never got to see him play? Yeah, I got to appreciate Jason Seorm. Probably not quite as much as Bad Dog did, but I definitely got to appreciate him. And he was great. I mean, I would say it. I would say, was he the best corner in my lifetime? It was a short period of time, but where he was like elite or, near tops in the league. But, I think back to guys that like Janoris Jenkins had that one incredible year. He was great that first year with the Giants. Corey Webster had a couple of really good years with the Giants. But Seorm was really good for maybe 3 years?
Seorm might have been the best cornerback in the league for 3 or 4 years. He started out as a safety and he moved to corner, which that's a much tougher job than moving from corner to safety. And he was a lockdown corner. He had 6 interceptions in 1997, and then he had one in the playoffs as well. Even after the injury, if you want to know anything about Jason Seorm, go research or look up on YouTube his interception against the Eagles in the 2000 NFC divisional game. It's one of the most athletic things you're ever going to see. And this is after he tore his ACL. So just think about what he was before. He's one of my favorites. And I joke around all the time. My Seahorn jersey is older than a lot of people in the chat because I bought it in 1997. And he was awesome. He was that game changer on defense. The Giants had a really good defense, but he was definitely the anchor of the secondary. He's very, very good, very athletic, fast as hell, big hitter. He had a good size. I mean,
he was a safety too.
He was a damn good player. Yeah, he started off as a safety and he moved to corner.
But that Eagles play, that's one of the greatest plays in Giants history.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Divisional round, he tips the ball up. Yeah, scores the touchdown.
It was right before the half, too, made it 17-0. We pretty much were on our way.
Yeah, that was an incredible play. And he was great. T, thank you very much. Egotists marry their negative opinions despite evidence to the contrary. Normal fans celebrate. Go team, go. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Yeah. I mean, listen, I say it all the time. People have told me, and I'm sure they've told Bad Dog. I know they've told Bad Dog the same thing. Chris, why are you upset that Jones isn't playing well? Now you won't look like a fool. No, I want to look like the biggest fool of all time. I put my team long before my opinions. I want to look like a fool when I don't believe in this team.
When you make video, I said this too, on either stream or something. When you make videos on YouTube or you put your opinion on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it doesn't matter if you're a social media guy or if you're on television on NFL Network, ESPN, when you have thousands of takes, I've made almost 2,000 videos in my time on YouTube. You are going to be wrong.
Of course.
You are going to be right and you are going to be wrong. Every single person on the face of the planet is wrong now and again. Every single one of them. Some are wrong more than others. But I don't know why people just can't admit it. It's not like a shot to your ego. I mean, who cares? I mean, if I cared about being wrong, I wouldn't.
It just makes me laugh when people go out of their way to just point out when you're wrong. They don't give you credit when you're right.
No, and that's because
we say that all the time.
That's because those people just want to feel better about themselves. I guess because I don't know how that makes anybody. I don't know what they're trying to do. Oh, you were wrong about so what?
Yeah,
what's your point? Oh, you were wrong. Okay, yeah. I'll be wrong again, too.
You're going to be wrong a lot. You're going to be right a lot.
But I have the balls to put my opinion out there to be judged.
You were right about who?
Darnold?
Darnold, you were definitely right about. Listen, sometimes you're going to be right. Sometimes you're going to be wrong. I get people on Twitter that are like, oh, Chris, I could see you're riding with Daniel Jones now. I'm going to be the first to kill you if they move on from Daniel Jones. This same guy was rubbing it in my face that we're going to draft Malik Willis last year. And when I said we weren't, do I rub it in your face that we didn't know? I'm a Giants fan. I don't, at the end of the day, I just want my team to be good. I don't get people that try to
That's the way I am. I watch a lot of, not as much as I used to because I don't have a lot of time to watch a lot of videos anymore. But when I would watch videos, and I still watch videos, there's definitely people that got things wrong. I don't go to them and go, ha ha, you were wrong about, I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay, you were wrong. I was wrong. Chris was wrong. This guy was wrong. That guy was wrong. This girl was wrong. Whoever. You were wrong about it. Oh, well, I was wrong about things too. I'm not going to go harp on you. Go, I told you I was right, because I don't care if I'm wrong or if you were wrong. It is what it is. It doesn't. I'm not about to sit there and go, oh, that makes me look more credible.
On draft night, Baddog, when we took Andrew Thomas and you wanted Simmons, did I point at you and say, ha, 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 ha? No. We were both happy they took a tackle.
I was extremely happy that they took it.
And we celebrated.
Right. And that's,
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. Like I said, some people just, I don't know if they're trying to discredit you. Like, I'm going to discredit Baddog and tell him I'm a freaking YouTuber, man. Who the hell cares? I'm a normal, everyday 9-to-5 schmo that goes to work and just tries to pay my bills and survive and has fun on YouTube. That's who I am. So discrediting me doesn't make you look any better. I don't understand that, especially when it's people that don't even make videos. They're just typers.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't get it, but
it is what it is.
It's social media this day and age. I guess I don't know.
It is what it is.
But here's a hot take. Not a hot take. I will be wrong again. I guarantee it. As long as I'm on YouTube, I will have bad takes.
Of course. But
at least I wasn't the guy on Twitter that said I'd rather be 5-4 and score 30 points a game than be 7-2 and score 90 points a game. That's the type of fan I don't understand.
Danny, man, thank you for being a member for 21 months. My favorite Giant is tied between Rodney Hampton and Jeremy Shockey. Rodney Hampton was probably the most popular Giant when I started watching the team. That was right around when I started watching the team. I didn't quite become a diehard until Tiki Barber took off in like 98, 99-ish. But when I first started watching the Giants, Hampton was the most popular player. So that's right around when I started watching the team and really started getting into the team. And Shockey, of course. I mean, come on. Like, everybody loved Jeremy Shockey.
Yeah, Hampton was great. I loved Rodney Hampton. And again, he played at a time like right after. I mean, he was part of the 1990 Super Bowl team. It was the first round pick that year, but he ended up breaking his leg. And Otis Anderson had a really good year that year and obviously won Super Bowl MVP. And then we were pretty bad through the 90s. We had a couple of peak years, 93, 97. We made the playoffs, but 91, 92, 93, 94. I'm sorry, 91, 92, 94, 95, 96. Not very good. We really didn't have any quarterbacks at that point. Sims was out after 93. We had, Danny Cannell and Dave Brown, and that wasn't working. And Hampton was really the only bright spot of that offense. And he was a workhorse, and he was really good.
Charlie Way, too.
Yeah, Charles Way. Charles Way was probably our best player in 97 because Hampton was nearing the end of his career at that point. But yeah, I mean, Hampton was good. I liked Rodney Hampton.
I loved Rodney Hampton. Big Moose says Dallas has to go to the Vikings for the late Sunday game. Hopefully they beat the crap out of Dallas, win or lose. That's and obviously I'm rooting for Minnesota, but if Dallas does win, it's not the end of the world because Minnesota's a team, right? If we have any kind of hope that we could get the 1 seed, Minnesota's 8-1. So I wouldn't be too upset if Dallas won. Obviously, I want them to lose.
Have a chance to beat Minnesota, so
that's true. No, I'm definitely rooting for Dallas to lose. And I think Minnesota's gonna win that game, but we'll see. Minnesota's not as good as their record says.
That's what people say about us too, right? They find a way to win, so they always
find a way to win.
Says.
And Tommy says Slayton is an unrestricted free agent next year. Can we bring him back? Yeah, it depends on his market. If he's going to command any kind of salary, though, no. My answer to you is no. Not with all the other players we got to bring back. But if his market remains low and you could get him back here for $3 million or something really, yeah, you could bring him back. But if he's going to be an $8-9 million player, I don't see it because you got Saquon, you got Jones, you got, we talked about extending Thomas. We talk about extending Dexter Lawrence. You got Julian Love's a free agent. Potentially extending a guy like McKinney, even though I don't think that's going to happen now after the injury. They're not going to extend him early, probably. But there's too many guys, I think, that are pending free agents or guys you want to extend long-term to more than likely give Darius Slayton a decent-sized contract. Now, if it's cheap, sure. But if he's going to have a decent market where he could get $8, $9, $10 million a year, I don't see him coming back with the Giants.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe I'm wrong, but I'd be surprised. Let's see. Packers down to 2 scores, use all their timeouts with 5 minutes to go. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I mean, Joe, at this point, I guess they're figuring they could score. They need enough time to recover the onside kick. I don't know, but I was watching it on the.
Well, 5 minutes ago, if they get in there before they would have to onside kick it unless they got there really quick.
They're gonna with no timeouts. They're gonna have to onside kick it unless they kick a really quick field goal.
I need some cheap yards here to Christian Watson. That's what I need. That's what I sit there and that's when fantasy football matters to me. When it's 2 teams, I don't give a rat's ass about. They just give me my points.
And Jacob says, Baddog Talkin, is Thomas eligible to extend at the end of the year? He is. Yes, after 3 years, you could extend players. So he's not eligible right now, but at the conclusion of the year, that's when they could start to talk to him about a potential extension. And I'm sure they will. Whether or not he accepts it, that's another story. But I think the Giants are going to at least approach him.
Yeah.
And T, who's on the O-line this Saturday? Is Azudu out? Yeah, let me pull up the injury report.
Right?
He's hurt. Yeah, I don't know how serious it is. But let me pull up the Giants injury report.
I think Lemieux might actually be able to make it.
This right now is the injury report. Bellinger's not going to play. Dexter Lawrence had a resting day, so don't worry about that. Kayvon illness.
Obviously out.
What'd you say?
McKinney's obviously out.
McKinney's out.
Evan Neal is back.
Evan Neal is limited, but everything I read, he's not playing this week.
Dallas.
Yeah, people are saying he could be back by Dallas.
He wants to atone for that last game against Dallas.
What'd you say?
He wants to atone for the last game.
That would be the storyline going into that game, him going up against Tank Lawrence again for sure, if he does come back. Azudu had a neck injury today, and he did not practice. So I would guess that it's trending towards he will not play Azudu this week. So, yeah. Jihad Ward was a limited participant with a thumb. Wandale Robinson did not practice today with a hamstring injury, so that's not good. We'll see. Maybe it's a rest day. Who knows? But that's the injury report today. So I don't know exactly who's going to play and who's going to not, but doesn't sound promising for Azudu this week.
I thought Lemieux could play this week.
Yeah, I think maybe somebody to check. Let me know. I think Lemieux can play this week. I think he can. I think he can. He's got a neck injury.
I don't think people say we haven't played anybody good. The Titans are good. We beat them.
Titans are very good
in Tennessee. Baltimore's good. We beat Baltimore too.
Baddog, the Titans have won 6 out of their last 7 coming into tonight.
I know.
Their only loss came against Kansas City in overtime by 3 points with a backup quarterback when they had Malik Willis starting.
Yeah.
The Titans are good. That was a good win by the Giants.
It was.
And Baltimore's good.
Yep.
So we've won some impressive games. There's no doubt about it. And hopefully win a few more impressive.
Well, we're going to have to. Now every team we play after Detroit has a winning record. Except for
I'm going to tell you what, man.
5-5, but we don't play anybody with a losing record for now. I mean, Washington could lose. They could have a losing record when we play them, but
how good of a coach is Mike Vrabel?
Pretty damn good.
Every year, this guy, people write the Titans off every year, and every year he's got them as like the 2 seed in the AFC.
Do you think Titans fans bitch and moan about Ryan Tannehill?
Not when they're winning. Giants... Well, they probably
do. That's what I mean. They're winning.
They probably do.
Maybe they do.
I think Jones is better than Tannehill. I really do. I think I'd rather have Daniel Jones than Ryan Tannehill.
Well, I would too.
But Mike Vrabel is so good. So good. I just feel like he's the type of coach that almost doesn't want it.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Watching this game, Aaron Rodgers he ain't it anymore, man.
He doesn't have the
watching him just take a 10-yard sack instead of throwing the ball away when he had 5 seconds to throw the ball. It's just not smart.
He's not the same guy.
No.
And the Titans are going to kneel the ball out now, probably.
Well, it's not. The game's not over, but he just took a bad sack. You got to throw the ball away.
Let's see what we got. Jacob says, Baddog Talkin, what are you looking at in terms of contracts? I'm thinking $10 to $15 million a year for Tom. No, way more than that. He's been the best tackle in the NFL this year. Do you guys agree about him being the best? Yes. Jacob, Andrew Thomas. I'm going to tell you what Andrew Thomas is going to get paid. This is what he's going to get paid. And people are going to go, oh, my God. This is what he's going to get paid. Hold on one second. I'm going to pull it up for you right now. This is what left tackles get paid in the NFL right now. And he's going to be the highest paid left tackle in the National Football League. Let me get rid of this real quick. Share screen. These are the highest paid left tackles in the league right now. It's $23 million right now for Trent Williams, $23 million for David Bakatari, $22 million for Laramie Tunsil. He's going to get paid more than that because every year the market goes up. He's young. Right now, he's the best left tackle in football. So you could take that $15 million. You know what Andrew Thomas would say if you came to him with $15 million a year contract? He'd say, wipe your ass with that. That's not happening. Andrew Thomas is going to be looking at, if he gets an extension this offseason, he's going to be looking at a 5-year, say it's a 5-year contract, $120 million. He's going to get $24 million a year, maybe even 25. That's the going rate for a left tackle. That's what he's going to get.
I'm just watching I'm watching the Packers. You run the ball on 4th and 2 with the game on the line. You don't put it in Aaron Rodgers' hands.
And they got stuffed?
They got stuffed.
There you go. Game over. They're going to kneel that clock out now.
Yeah. They're gonna run one play and it'll be it.
General Zod. He says Dallas lost 4 or 5 turkey games. How can the G-men win? I ain't even we'll talk about it, I guess, but I'm not even focused on Dallas right now. We'll focus on Dallas on Monday after the Sunday game. We got Detroit, but how can they win? Same way they've been winning all year. Don't turn the football. But the one thing I'm going to say about that game that gives me some hope, and I don't even know what our team's going to look like going into that game. I don't know if Evan Neal's going to be playing. Who knows? What have we seen this year with this coaching staff, Baddog, from within games? What have the
adjustments?
The adjustments, right? Adjust. Who's the only team on the Giants schedule that they were about to play for a second time on Thursday? So now you give a coaching staff that has proven this year that they have been able to make tremendous in-game adjustments week to week, a second look at another team. So that's my optimistic thinking. I'm saying to myself, they've been able to make great in-game adjustments. Now you're giving them a second look at a team they've already played. I think Dable's going to come out with a really good game plan against Dallas.
Yeah, I agree. They'll figure it out. They'll definitely make their adjustments. Now, the big difference is Dak Prescott's going to play in this game.
That's true. It's going to be a tough game to win. It's going to be a tough game to win.
I don't know what Zeke's status is either.
He's going to play because I'm hearing that he's probably going to play this week. So I got to think he's going to be playing by Thanksgiving.
The Titans just threw a play-action pass for like 40 yards on to the 5. That's insane.
How much time left?
Just 155. I would imagine they're just going to down it now, but it was just strange.
Yeah.
I guess 2 minutes ago, it didn't matter. You're going to hit the 2-minute warning anyway, so like the hell with it. Let's try to get the first down and surprise them, and they did.
No, they just kneel it out.
Yeah.
Matthew, man, thank you very much, man. Hey, Chris, longtime supporter. Thank you for making great. Well, thank you for watching, Matthew. Thank you for making great content. Planning on flying in on a Sunday game from Canada for my first Giants game, and was wondering if you would come to the game on me, dude. Man, thank you so much, man, for the incredible offer, man. I don't know if you follow me on Twitter, Matthew. If you do, you could always message me on there. Maybe I will go to another game this year. We'll see. I know Bad Dog's talking about potentially going to another game, or going to a game. I just appreciate the offer. And first off, thank you so much for watching the channel. Thank you for being such a great supporter on the channel. I had so much fun at that Giant game, Bad Dog. I wish you were there. I had so much fun at that Giant game, getting to hang out with Justin from Talkin' Giants, and getting to hang out with Nikki Snacks, and met so many great supporters. My brother came with me. So hopefully you get to make it to a Giants game this year. I'd love to go to another one.
I definitely want to. I mean, that's the goal. I don't know which one, but figure it out. I do want to go to a game this year. I missed being able to go to it last year. Again, my thing is that I don't like the drive. I hate that drive. Like, I don't want to drive. That's why I'm like, well, listen, whoever I go with, I'm like, dude, you drive, I'll pay for the hotel and the beer. We're good. You got to pay for ticket. I ain't paying for the tickets because they're expensive, but I'll pay for the room and the beer. But yeah, hopefully like I said, my brother-in-law and I have talked about it. So he said, I don't care if I'm going to a cold weather game. Now we don't have a choice. They're all going to be freaking cold from here on out. So we'll see.
I'm not going to lie though. I missed you guys, during the game. I missed, because it's our Sunday thing. I love calling the games with you guys. I love hanging out with the chat. But it's fun to go to a game. But I was, I'm sitting there. I miss calling the games. But
it's fun. I enjoyed calling the game, but I definitely miss having you there. It's not the same dynamic. I like having somebody to go back and forth with. Not that I love being able to talk to the chat.
I mean, it's like when you watch a Giants game. You'd prefer to have a buddy next to you when you talk about the game while you're watching it. It makes it more
right.
Makes it more fun.
Yeah.
But Matthew, man, yeah, if you have Twitter, reach out to me. If not, just reach out to me in the comments. I'll remember you in my YouTube video, and I'll give you my email. But matter of fact, I'll even give you my email now, just in case you don't have Twitter. I'll just put it in the chat. But I just appreciate the offer, man. Thank you very much, man. Let's see what we got. That's my email. I'll just put it in the chat. Joshua, man, thank you very much, man. And he says, will you guys do a Wednesday night show next week? Well, I think we're going to have to, right? Because it's either, I don't know the Lakers schedule, but either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Check.
Lakers
are off.
I mean, I guess we could do a Friday or Saturday if we can't, because we could recap the Thanksgiving game.
Right.
So we'll see. I'll tell you what, Joshua, if Bad Dog can, I will.
No, we're good.
Yeah, I'll do a stream.
We're good. We can do it Wednesday next week.
So we'll do a Wednesday. We'll do a Wednesday stream next week.
The Lakers play Tuesday and then they play Friday. So we can definitely do it next week.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Next Wednesday works out perfectly. Tonight I don't go to the gym. I'm off that day. So
there you go.
Going to visit a travel agent, Mrs. Bad Dog.
Oh, you're going to Disney, right?
Yeah, not next year, the year after, but it's just, I figure get it done a year and a half. But yeah, I told her for her, for one of her birthdays. I won't say how old she is, but it's a big one. Just put it that way. I said, listen.
She's 21. She's young.
Yeah, 21. She's 21. God, I mean, I've been with her since she was like freaking 19.
Yeah.
It's been a long time. It's been a long time. But yeah, so going to Disney World, taking a little guy. I want all inclusive. It's just much easier to get the park hopper and do all the stuff.
What's the plan? We did that for a honeymoon. The plan's summertime?
April. Her birthday's April.
Not too hot.
Right. Little Bad Dog's birthday's April. Yeah. It will not be the week of the draft.
Of course not.
It was the last week in April.
Yeah.
We ain't got to worry about that. That's our week. That's our week. 1 week with the wife, 1 week with the bro on YouTube.
Can't wait.
I told you, my wife always looks forward to the draft week. She said, oh, thank God. Chris, take him for a weekend.
And Jeremiah, man, thank you for being stand up, new member. Welcome to the squad. We got 2 misleading stories. Misleading stories been with me forever, man. Thank you so much, man. Stand up, new member, man. Thank you to everybody for being here, having a lot of fun tonight. I'm excited to be back on the channel with Bad Dog, with you guys. Always love doing these live streams. And
absolutely.
Hopefully you guys enjoying your Thursday night, and whoever's watching the Thursday night game, hopefully enjoyed the game. Obviously, I didn't get to watch it.
Joseph San Diego got exactly right. He said, "Oh, that makes sense. She was too young to know any better." That's a fact.
Now Mike said like 201. We only got 201 likes. Hit the like, guys. Hit the like.
Smack the hell out of that like, man. Smack the hell out of that like button like our offensive line needs to smack Detroit in the mouth.
100%
down the throat.
And they better smack them in the mouth this week.
Got to.
What contract does DJ get if he wins the Super Bowl? If Daniel Jones wins the Super Bowl, he gets a franchise quarterback contract. You win a Super Bowl, you get paid. That's just the way it works. You get paid. He'd get a 5-year, $200 million, that type of contract if he won a Super Bowl. And I would gladly give it to him at that point. Go ahead. You won me the Super Bowl. Here's your reward. So I'd gladly give it to him at that point.
Yep.
Rudy, man, thank you for being a member, man. He says, how are my 2 favorite non-player Giants personalities? We're doing great, Rudy.
We're doing all right, Rudy. We're 7-2, baby. We feeling good.
And he says, appreciate everything you guys both do for us fans. Don't be blue when you can be big blue. We appreciate you too, Rudy, man.
I'm going to tell you something. One thing I love, there's definitely the support that I say it all the time, support that you guys and girls have shown over the years is phenomenal. I can never express my gratitude in words how grateful I am for each and every one of you guys. I don't know what Chris expected when we started the show. I don't know what I expected. I never thought it would get to this point where we have so many fantastic Giants fans, but I wanted to read something, and it's these type of things and Chris, I don't know if he sent this to you or not, but it's this type of thing. I got this guy, Paul, DM me on Twitter, and it's these type of things that make what I do on YouTube worth it to me. He just, he texted or commented, he said, Bad Dog, thank you for all the content and commitment. I've really come to love listening to you and Chris this past year or two. It's been a way to just let go and listen to people who really care about the New York Giants. My grandfather started going to the Giants games in the 30s with my grandma at the Polo Grounds. And as a little boy, she used to shake the whole house, screaming, get him, smash him. 5'2" old Polish lady. My dad and I went to games my whole life, just like me, my dad. And my brother, too. We bleed blue. I'm bringing in the fourth generation with my sons, much like I am. He said, you've made my life better with your content. It's been fun to be a part of the community you've created. Thanks from the bottom of my heart from one fan to another. It's those type of things where a guy just goes out of his way to say, thank you. And again, we thank you. Because without guys like Paul, without guys like girls like you guys in the chat, we wouldn't even be doing this.
I don't think I got a message from Paul, but I get
overwhelming those type of things.
Yeah, I get messages like that all the time, and on Twitter, and sometimes I miss them, because I get a lot of messages on Twitter. Sometimes I miss them, and I feel bad when I look back at my Twitter messages. But I get messages like that all the time. It blows me away. When you hear things like that, and people that are appreciative of what we do. And at the end of the day, I say it all the time, Bad Dog. People ask me sometimes, people ask me for tips. Like when they first start a YouTube channel, they're like, what do you do? Why, how did you grow your channel? This, that. When I do a live stream, Bad Dog, this is the way. And this is what I want my audience to realize, what I vision. And everybody's different. What I envision right now, we got about 550 people in here during the stream. The way I look at it, especially when I'm solo, I want it to feel like when you're watching my stream that it's me and you in 550 different scenarios sitting at a bar side by side talking sports.
Yeah.
That's what's fun for me. And that's what I try to bring to my community. That's what I try to do when I go for a live stream. Just going to a bar, having a conversation, talking sports.
I agree. And listen, man, I'm on the internet and I don't know really any of these people personally. But I do. I mean, I share a lot of my personal life. Obviously, a lot of guys and girls that have been with me since 2017. Or kind of when I started to change my content here from what I used to do, have seen my little guy grow from a kid that was crawling and in diapers to a kid that's going to be 6 years old, and he's grown and he has his own personality, and it's amazing. Or Chris, we've had a couple of kids that were freshmen in high school that have graduated. It's that type of thing where it's like, wow. I mean, we've been around a long time, and I share a lot of things with the people on here, things that I'm going through, because at the end of the day, I'm human. I always try to look at it that way. I'm always humbled when somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you're Bad Dog, or I love your content, like those comments. And again, it's humbling, but it's weird to me because I'm like, I just feel like I'm just a regular everyday person, just like everybody in the chat. And like I said, I'm a guy with a job. I have a wife. I have a kid. I live everyday life, but I'm here on YouTube with thousands of the greatest Giants fans in the world. And I just try to humanize myself more than anything else. I try to be as genuine as I can with everything that I'm going on. It's going on with me. I'm older, so I really don't feel like I need to prove anything to anybody. I have my faults like anybody else. And that's one of my biggest tips, is just be yourself. I mean, people may not be able to meet you in person. They may never meet you in person, but they'll know when you're genuine, and they'll know when you're full of shit. So just be yourself. If people don't like you for who you are, oh, well, that's their problem. They can go do something else, right? So just be yourself. Take your chances with that. And at the end of the day, you're going to be successful. You also have to love what you do. It's a big commitment. And, if you love talking about the Giants, just talk about the Giants. It's good stuff.
Yeah. Just 1 second, Bad Dog. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no problem. Misleading story. Thank you for the super chat. Says, still not enough likes, fellas. We can do better than this. Yeah, hit that thumbs up. That's free. That don't cost anything to do. It helps out the stream huge. And thank you for it. Davey Anonymous, you're the one that said that. Davey, you jinxed me. You were right the other night. I was sick. I don't know if you were here at the beginning of the stream. I have COVID. So you were correct. I was sick. It was Davey Anonymous that said, Are you sick? And I said, no, I'm not sick. Why does everybody always think I'm sick? I was sick.
And thank you. Thank you for reading that.
He got me. He was right. And listen, I'm not going to go to a doctor. I'll just go to Davey from now on. I don't go to doctors. But Davey knew I was sick. I didn't feel sick, but I guess I was. That's the other amazing thing is my chat knows when something's wrong with me. That's amazing. Bad dog, you're not yourself. Bad dog is something wrong. Bad dog, are you sick? They know. That's incredible.
Look at Frankie. And by a misleading story. Thank you very much, Bad Dog. Thank you for reading that.
Yes.
Frankie said he was an 8th grader. Now he's a junior. Look at that.
It's crazy.
Bad Dog, this is scary. We are molding America's youth.
That's really scary. That's really scary. That's
a scary thought. That's a scary thought.
It's not good. Nah, Dave, I don't need to go to a doctor. I feel fine. I was just COVID tired is what I slept 12 hours last night, so I feel good now. But really nothing serious. I guess, like I said, I must have just sounded congested or whatever. I mean, I do have a bit of a stuffy nose, but I just chalked it up to it's cold. It started snowing here, and I have a big ass nose. Things always stuffy. What the hell you want?
And I just want to read a Slurpee's member chat. He's another guy who's been with us forever. He says, best feeling ever, starting at the ceiling before going to bed, realizing the Giants are 7-2 and control their destiny. Makes me emotional. Love you. Thank you. Hey, man. Love you too, man. He's been I got to meet Slurpee in person. Great support on my channel. Yeah, man, it's been a ride. Since I started on YouTube, it's been nothing but down, and now this year it seems like it's been nothing but up. Hopefully the good times keep coming.
Hey, for years I would say just wait till we're good.
We're
good. How good does it feel? You know what? Another one of my favorite things is, Chris, I do a video, and I'm always, when we win or something good happens, I always start off with this. You're always like, oh, when Bad Dog starts off with a smile, it always makes my day. So I'm glad that I've been able to smile a lot more this year. Listen, I rant with the best of them. I don't want to make that content if I don't have to. And I'm not going to, people are like, can you do a rant on this? Can you do a rant on that? I don't rant just to rant. I rant when I'm genuinely pissed off. We're 7-2. Is there things I'd like them to do better? Of course. But we're 7-2, man. I ain't complaining about that. I don't care how we did it.
Of course.
I love it. We have not won this many games in a full season in the last 5 seasons. Yeah. I'm thrilled. I'm stoked, man. Yeah. I'm happy as hell. Happy Bad Dog. You haven't seen it in 5 years. People don't know how the hell to react because most people found me. The Daniel Jones reaction, obviously, a lot of people found me. So
and last year,
since they drafted Daniel Jones, we've been a dumpster fire with many embarrassing moments and horrible losses, and it's pissed me off. So pretty much all people know is Bad Dog's always pissed off, Bad Dog's always yelling, Bad Dog's always ranting, and now we're like, some people are like, I miss the old Bad Dog. Like, I miss that. Don't.
Yeah, I don't miss
this Bad Dog.
I don't miss
10 years.
I want happy Bad Dog for the rest of my life.
Yes.
I want happy Bad Dog. Sad Bad Dog's not.
Doesn't mean I still won't get pissed off. Trust me, it's going to happen. But hopefully, it's much less.
And Jeremiah, thank you so much, man. He says, but I saw somebody in the chat. I was trying to find a Twitter video for you. I couldn't find it. But Talkin' Giants dropped a Twitter video of me taking a shot at the Giants game. He was asking me where I was. I was in parking lot L16. Justin tailgates there before every game from Talkin' Giants, so that's where I was before.
Did you see Patricia there?
I didn't.
Oh.
I forgot about that. Yeah, she said she was going to try to meet up. She didn't come. Hopefully next time, and when I go to a Giants game, I'll get to meet her. I was supposed to meet her at training camp this year, but that didn't work out either. So hopefully, maybe she just doesn't like me. No, I'm kidding.
I doubt that.
I'm kidding.
I know that. I know that's not true.
No, I'm joking.
When we talk to her off camera, I know that's not true.
And Jeremiah says, "Hey, I'm taking my son to the Washington game. You guys should listen, Jer. If there's gonna be a game I go to, it's probably gonna be that one. Because I know Bobby's having a huge tailgate for that with Justin. He's coming down from Florida, up from Florida. So if I'm gonna go to another one, that'll probably be the one. But I don't want to commit to anything, Jeremiah. But that'll probably be the one if I do go to one.
It's always tough for me. Like I said, I always want somebody to go because that's not a short drive for me. Like it is. Yeah. That's a good 4 hours from where I am. And I really, man, listen, I don't like to drive. I have road rage issues. I do. I don't like to drive. I drive because I have to. Not because my wife would tell you, if we're going somewhere and it's like over an hour drive, I would just say, you drive. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I don't like it's not that I don't like driving. If I have the road to myself.
Well, let's be honest, man. With New York traffic, like you don't live in like the New York. Like
no,
when people
I
think
do
about
not.
New York, they think about New York.
Yeah,
and,
no. Way different.
Yeah.
We have lawns and trees and
with the traffic that you'd have
stop
to
signs
going to that
stop.
game. I understand why you wouldn't want to drive to that game because I could only picture, like, if you say you have road rage where you live.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. When I used to go down to Yankee Stadium and like try to drive through the Bronx traffic, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I lose my ever-loving mind. Yeah, I really do. So it's just easier for me to say, listen, I just pay for the stuff except for the tickets. You drive. So I'll see what I can do, man. I'll be seeing my brother-in-law for Thanksgiving.
If you're gonna go to a game, pick the Washington game.
I'll try.
That's a good one to go to. And they may flex one of these games though. I'll tell you that right now. We're gonna get flexed. I don't know what game it's going to be.
The first Eagles game is going to get flexed.
Because all these games are going to, like, if Washington keeps playing well, that could be a huge game. The Eagles game could be a huge game. Both Eagles games could be huge games. The Viking game could be a huge game. We're getting flexed down the stretch. We might get flexed twice down the stretch. NY Giants 26, man. Thank you very much, man. He says, I was in 7th grade with you guys. Now a senior in high school. Wow.
It's insane.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's what I'm talking about, man. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I've been around YouTube so long. I've seen kids that were in, and I'm talking about my first stint on YouTube. I've seen guys that were in college grow up and get married and have wives and kids. It's crazy.
David L., you two are the best of any Giants content creators. I love Patty, Chris, and Justin, but you guys feel like the guys next to me at a stadium or a sports bar. That's what I try to do, David. I think that's what Baddog tries to do too. So that's what I try to do. I mean, I make videos trying to give a fan's perspective, and I try to give you guys a well-informed opinion. And when I go live, that's what it is. It's basically you, me, we're at a bar, we're talking Giants. Let's go. Nothing's prepared. It's just hanging out and talking about the team that we love.
That's really what it is. That's all it's been. In a lot of my live streams, it ends up being other things than the Giants. That's what I'm talking about. I humanize myself. We talk about food. We talk about booze, we talk about movies and music, whatever, wrestling, it just things, I don't want to say they fall off the tracks. It just ends up being like a conversation that you would have with somebody where the topics change. And that's awesome.
And Demir's awesome, man. Great supporter. He says, watch y'all for 4 years of my Marine career. Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for serving. Happy Veterans Day. Happy belated Veterans Day.
Yes, absolutely. Big respect.
Man. Wow. So look at that, Bad Dog. Even if it was a little bit of help, and I know it wasn't much, but even if it was a tiny bit of help that helped you while you were overseas defending the country, that's awesome. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And Joshua, he says, I'm in my first year of college, and you guys make me feel like I'm back home because I used to watch Talk of Giants with my dad. Oh, man, thank you, man. Appreciate it, dude. And best luck in college, Joshua. Nikki Sav, he says, I had just graduated high school. Nikki's awesome. Now I'm out of college. I remember my first call in with you, Chris. I was so nervous. You both inspired me to finally start my new channel. Yeah, Nikki, I got to get you back on the channel. And we'll try to promote your channel because you're very knowledgeable and you've always been a great supporter of mine. Another guy I got to meet in person. That's so cool too. You know, I've gotten to meet a number of these people in person before. Giants events, Giants games, training camp, Fan Fest, Giants games. And they come into the chat and you're like, oh yeah, Nikki, I remember you. I met you in person. That was fun. So that's cool too. But he's been with me forever, been such a great supporter. I've had him on my channel a couple of times and look forward to doing it again.
Yep.
He actually used to be neighbors with Saquon Barkley.
Yes, I think he mentioned that before.
Yeah, he's no longer. I think he moved, but he used to be. His mom made Saquon Barkley cookies.
Nice.
When Barkley was hurt. John, man, thank you very much, man. I was a junior in high school when I started watching you guys. Now I'm a sophomore in college. Thanks for all the great content you guys dude. Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
And NY John 26 says, and I haven't missed the stream except for the Met ones. Well, if you're not a Met fan, I can't blame you.
Right. Right.
But I appreciate you for being here when you can. Oh, dude, I don't even know what this is, how much this is, but Diego, thank you. It says MX. I'm assuming Mexico. Mexico. Thank you so much, Diego. He says, hey, guys, I just want to share my opinion. As of now, about Vanilla Vic, this could change. Listen, anybody's opinion is entitled to change. Okay,
of course it is. Not to interrupt, but I've never understood that. Oh, you flip flop. The power rankings change every week.
Yeah,
they're not. Dude, the Pulse of Sports changes consistently.
Especially
your opinions are going to change.
Especially football,
right?
Because it's so week to week. He says his opinion about Daniel Jones could change. I think you would have to assemble a super team around him to win a Super Bowl. And I'm of the mentality that you need a top 10 quarterback to win because he covers the team's weaknesses. And that's a very fair opinion, Diego. And I agree with you that to win a Super Bowl, once they're off the rookie contract, I think you can win a Super Bowl when they're on the rookie contract if they're not a top 10 quarterback, whether that be Nick Foles, whether that be you name it. There's been several. Jimmy Garoppolo was this close. I mean,
Jared Goff,
a missed throwaway. Jared Goff, he was this close. Like it's happened before, non-top 10 quarter. But once you get paid, I agree. Yeah, I would even go further than that. I think you need to be better than a top 10 quarterback once you get franchise quarterback money. Once that money really kicks in, because I don't think Dak Prescott could win it. If you consider him a top 10 quarterback, which I don't, not at this point, but at one point he was. I don't think he could win a Super Bowl, to be honest with you, once that money kicks in. I don't think Carr could win one. I don't think Cousins could win one.
Mahomes probably can.
Mahomes can. There's a handful that can. So I understand the mindset, Diego. But I am not advocating for Jones to get a franchise quarterback contract. Not yet, anyway. I'm advocating to give him a short-term commitment, keep building the rest of the team, and seeing if he could morph into a franchise quarterback worthy of giving a contract like that. And if he doesn't, you move off of him. But for next year, my opinion is I roll with him. And this may be a hot take. I don't think he's as far off as you think from being a top 10 quarterback.
He's close now.
Look around the league right now. And I don't know if this is a compliment to Jones as much as it is a knock against the quarterbacks around the NFL right now. He's in that 12 to 15 conversation for me. He's got to be, right?
Got to be. We did this before. He's better than Heineke. He's better than.
Let's update it again. Let's go over it real quick. Right now, you got to say Tua is better, even though Tua is in a much better situation. But we'll say Tua is better. Zach Wilson, Jones. No, better. Josh Allen's better. Mac Jones, Dan Jones better, right?
Dan Jones.
So far, we got 2. Lamar Jackson better.
Lamar Jackson better than Jones. Yes.
3. Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Jacoby Brissett.
No.
Pickett.
No.
So 4. I think Jones is better than Tannehill.
I think Jones is better than Tannehill too.
I really do. So 4. I think Jones is better than Matt Ryan.
At this juncture, yes.
I think Jones today is better than Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be better.
On this day, yes.
Today,
but in the future, I think Lawrence's upside is way better. But right now, Jones is better.
I think Jones is better than Davis Mills.
Definitely.
Mahomes, that's 5. Herbert, that's 6. I think if you've watched him play and you don't go by name recognition, today, I think Daniel Jones is better than Russell Wilson.
Definitely.
Today, I think Daniel Jones is better than Derek Carr.
Definitely.
Hurts is better.
Hurts is better.
Hard to say. I mean, again, supporting cast, but I'll
Hurts
give you that.
Is better.
That's 7. What do you think, Dak or Jones?
I got to go Dak.
That's 8. Heineke, we said Jones is better.
Yeah.
I'll give you Cousins. That's 9. Cousins playing well. Who's better right now, Rodgers or Jones? You want to go Rodgers?
And
it's not as far off as you
it's
think.
hard for me to just say Jones is better than Rodgers. But if you watch Rodgers play tonight,
I'll go Rodgers. But let's put it this way. Rodgers next
year. It's not
year,
a slam dunk anymore.
It's not a slam dunk anymore. But Rodgers, that's 10. I think Jones is better than Goff. I think Jones is better than Fields. And I know Fields has been playing better, but right now I'm taking
Fields has been running better.
Yeah. I'll still go Brady. That's 11.
Yep.
He's better than Mariota. He's better than whoever you want to say at Carolina. He's better than whoever you want to say in New Orleans. So we're at 11. Geno Smith statistically is better.
I'd still prefer Daniel Jones over Geno Smith, though.
I think I would too, because Geno's got. Let's put it this way: if Jones was playing for Seattle and had DK Metcalf and Lockett, I think he'd be doing just as good, if not better, than Geno Smith. That's my honest belief.
Yep.
I'm going Jones over him. Garoppolo or Jones?
That's a coin toss. It's tough. I think they're very,
very close,
equal. But I mean, again,
let's be conservative and say Garoppolo. That's 12. Kyler Murray or Jones?
I still got to go Murray. I still think Murray's a little
13.
better. But again, the gap has closed a lot.
And the way Stafford's playing, I think you go Jones over Stafford right now.
Jones has definitely been better than Stafford this year.
Stafford doesn't look like the same quarterback with the injury. So we say 14. And I think he's in that 12 to what you want to make it 16 or 17. He's in that area right now.
Right. Give him some friggin' receivers.
Yeah, and that's without receivers, and that's with a bad offensive line.
Right. Give him some receivers. Give him a better interior offensive line. Give him 3 years under the current regime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Zero.
Jones has the ability to be a top 10 guy.
He definitely could be a top 10 quarterback.
He has the ability to be a top 10 guy. He'll never be elite. He'll never be in that Mahomes, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow. He'll never be that. I would never expect him to be that. But can he be as good as Dak Prescott? Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
I mean, can he be that type of guy? Absolutely.
You give Daniel Jones what Dak Prescott had at the beginning of his career, he could do what Dak Prescott did.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
I believe that. I believe that. Roman, man, thank you for being a member. He says, Giants are making the playoffs this year. That's crazy to think. They are at this point. How could you think they're not? They're 94% of the time teams start 7-2.
Let's start 8-2, and then we'll really
8-2. We'll really hammer home. Xerox says, "Evening, gents. Excited for the Lions game. Sexy Dexy looks like is playing like an All-Pro. He is an All-Pro.
He is.
The guy had 9. Baddog. I got to look this up. Last week, he had 9 pressures. 9. I want to look up team pressures for the year. He had 9 pressures by himself in one game. And he had another game this year where he had 8. How crazy is that?
He's a man possessed. That just goes to show you we won the Odell Beckham trade.
Oh, we definitely won the Odell Beckham trade. Him alone, obviously, but
so shout out to Gettleman.
He won that trade.
Gettleman did good on that one.
I'm gonna tell you what, Bad Dog, and you it's sacrilegious to say that Gettleman did anything good, because I understand the fan base hates him and I get it. He did some good.
He did some good.
He did some good. And you got to be fair. You see the way some of these guys are playing without, and it really makes you realize just how bad the coaching was. He did some good.
Agreed.
I'm trying to look at the advanced stats. I wish I could find it. I'm just curious to see how he stacks up in terms of quarterback pressures based. Oh, here it is. Pressures. That's quarterback hits. I'll have to find it another time. But I was just curious because when I read that stat the other day, 9 pressures in one game. That's insane. But Xerox, man, thank you very much. Jeremiah says the Washington game is also a legacy game. And what lot would you go? Yeah, so it would be if I go again, it would be, like I said, it would be L16. That's where Justin tailgates. That's where I'll be if I go to that Washington game. Yeah, that's where I'll be. It's gonna be a really fun tailgate. Even if I don't go, Jeremiah, if you're going to the Washington game, go to L16 because Bobby's gonna be there, Justin's gonna be there. They're gonna be giving free food. And it's going to be a sponsored tailgate by their sponsor. So go. If I don't go. Silly Parody, man, thank you very much. He says, we want Glad Dog, not Sad Dog. And B was at the game from San Francisco. Oh, okay.
Listen, I want to be Glad Dog too. I don't want to be Mad Dog or Sad Dog.
We all want him to be Glad Dog.
I want to be
Glad
Glad Dog for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Charles in Charge says, I'm new to the channel this season, and now I watch games with sound off and you guys calling it. Well, by the way, I'm just so used to, like, everybody in this chat already knows Bad Dog because we work together so much. But in case you don't, we alternate every week. Go over to Bad Dog Sports. We're doing the live play-by-play on this channel this week. We're going to be doing Thanksgiving, which, by the way, I think I'm going to be able to call the whole game on Thanksgiving.
Okay, cool.
We're going to be doing the game on Thanksgiving.
I'll be having a couple beers that day.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the game on Thanksgiving on his channel.
It's Thanksgiving. I can. That's my cheat day.
There you go.
That'll be fun, man. That'll be a good day. The Dallas Cowboys, Thanksgiving. We will do our best. They're honoring John Madden that day, so that'll be a fun stream.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
That'll be.
That makes sense. That was like his day when he used to give out the turducken.
Yes. So that'll be really fun.
Have you ever had a turducken?
No, I don't like duck.
But would you
turkey
like
and
it
chicken.
if it was mixed between a turkey and a chicken?
That
might change the dynamic of the duck.
Yeah, it would change the dynamic of everything.
I know.
I like, chicken and turkey. Hell yeah. I live on chicken and turkey. It's like all I eat, and egg whites and yogurt. Oh, one thing I love about Instagram, man, these guys they just show up on my thing because I searched like workout things and stuff. They have these recipes for like guys that are really into the calories. Like I found this thing that's a cheesecake Oreo milkshake. It's less than 300 calories. I made one today. Oh my God. It was the best thing ever.
How is that under 300 calories? Because
you use artificial sweetener, sugar-free cheesecake pudding mix, Greek yogurt, almond milk, whey protein, and low-fat cream cheese. It's just like a tablespoon of each thing. But yeah, it's 280 calories and like 32 grams of protein. It's good stuff.
Sounds amazing.
It was amazing.
Let me read the rest of this, Charles. We got sidetracked. He says, I'm new to the channel this season, and now I watch the games with the sound off and you guys calling it. Love the Giants, and you guys are a blast. We appreciate it, man.
Thank
you. Charles, we've been doing it now for, I think,
5 years.
This is our 5th year, right? Yeah, because we started the second half of the 2018 season. We started doing it together. I think I did like 2 games solo, and then we just paired up and we started doing it. And we've been doing it ever since. It's a lot of fun. It's like a virtual stadium. Like if you can't go to the game, it's like you're with 3,000 other fans watching the game together. So it's always a lot of fun. And I'm happy that we've built a community and you guys enjoy watching the game with us.
Shout out to Jared, said he had Nick's ice cream for the first time the other day because of Bad Dog, the s'mores flavor. So, that's the best one, Jared. The campfire s'mores. It's unbelievable. It's so good.
I love s'mores, so I'm sure I would like
it. The campfire s'mores Nick's ice cream is the best. It is unbelievable. It is my favorite flavor.
Roman. He says, I just want to say thank you to the 2 best YouTube creators. We appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
We want to say thank you for watching. And I don't think we're the 2 best, but we appreciate the compliment.
We appreciate it.
LeCap James, what's going on, buddy? Ever since I started watching you, since I was 12, I always knew you were going to be an inspiration to middle schoolers. Now grown up, actually insane. I still can't believe that we are. I still don't think we are, but
I know.
We appreciate you guys watching.
Definitely.
And Playboy Phil, what's going on, man? I love Williams from USC. Dude, he's a beast. I don't love Daniel Jones. Would you go for us signing DJ to a 2 to 3 year deal and draft Williams to let him learn? Oh, yeah.
We would have to pick first.
Yeah, there's no way. That's the thing, Playboy. Like, and who knows? Things can change in terms of like how quarterbacks look. He's still got another year of collegiate eligibility. You don't know if he's even going to stay healthy, but if he's going to go first overall, I know if there's a team that needs a quarterback there, they're not trading out of it.
Hey, listen, I wanted him last year. I spoke highly of Caleb Williams all last year. I said, get him in here. I said, don't worry about drafting a quarterback in 2023. Get Caleb Williams in 2024. Now things have changed. The Giants have turned it around way quicker than anybody thought. But yeah, I freaking I love Caleb
Oh,
Williams.
he's awesome. He's awesome. But I don't think we're going to get him because I think we're going to be good next year.
Yeah, I agree.
I look at Dable like I was just talking about Mike Vrabel, because people have frequently compared the New York Giants to the Tennessee Titans this year.
We're very similar.
I remember people saying that like 3 or 4 weeks in. I think Chris Long was actually the first guy that brought up the comparison. And when I heard him, like, that makes a lot of sense. And I look at Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel came in, first year they started winning 9, 10 games, and he always could. I think Dable's going to do the same thing here. When you have good coaching, they get the most out of the players. I don't think this is a fluke. And I know we haven't played the hardest of schedules, but I think our schedule's been a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be at the start of the year thus far, because Seattle's a better team than I thought they would be at the beginning of the year. Tennessee's a good football team. Baltimore's a good football team. The Cowboys are better than I thought they would be. We played them already. So I think we're going to be a good team next year. I really do. And I think Dable's a good coach. He's going to keep this team competitive going forward.
Yeah, we are doing this in the first year of a rebuild with no wide receivers, no interior offensive line, very weak in middle line, the middle linebacker, inside linebacker position. We've had God only knows how many freaking injuries. We traded away our most talented wide receiver. Our highest paid wide receiver can't catch a cold. And we're 7-2. So, and we had no cap flexibility. So just think about, like I said, having more cap flexibility, having these guys having a year under the Giants regime, having guys like Brandon Brown and Joe Shane and Brian Dable, Brandon Brown and Joe Shane scouting guys for the Giants, Joe Shane having his scouting team for the Giants. They did not have their scouting team last year. So think about them with 11 draft picks, 50 some odd $1 million in cap space next year, depending on who they, if they cut people or they renegotiate contracts and whatever they do. And, we talk
all
about
these young players getting better that are
right.
on the team.
And Patricia Traina mentions it a lot. Brandon Brown came from the Howie Roseman school of learning the cap, and Shane came from Buffalo and Bean, and they know how to. So there's reason to be excited as a Giants fan. If there wasn't already reason to be excited that we're 7-2, think about what the future entails, because this should be about as bad of a situation as we're in with these guys. They came in at the worst possible spot. They did get 2 top 10 draft picks. That certainly helps.
Yeah.
But cap-wise, a nightmare. And a lot of question marks about Saquon Barkley coming off the injury, about Daniel Jones being a guy that could win football games, about Dexter Lawrence. Nobody really thought that he'd have this type of season. I know I didn't. I always thought he had talent, but he was just kind of there.
How many All Pros are awarded, Baddog? You have a quarterback, running back.
I think it's just one at each position.
Maybe 2 or 3 wide receivers, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Regardless, whatever it is, say there's 25 that get awarded, 30 that get awarded. 3 of them might be New York Giants. 3 of them. Andrew Thomas, Saquon Barkley, Dexter Lawrence.
Definitely. Andrew Thomas, definitely. He's the best left tackle in the league.
Very likely could be Barkley. And if I would have told you that at the beginning of the year, that we would even have the possibility of having 3 All Pros, you would have said you're a lunatic.
Yeah. Last time we had 3 All Pros, we went to the playoffs. I don't know if it was 3.
You have 3 All Pros. You better
Jenkins was an All Pro that year. I think Collins was an All Pro, and I think Snacks. I want to say we had 3. Maybe Jenkins was a second team All Pro guy. Yeah. But Collins and Snacks, I'm almost positive, were All Pros in 2016. I definitely think Andrew Thomas is the best, and he should be.
Oh, he's getting it.
Dexter Lawrence definitely playing like an All Pro, as a Saquon Barkley.
Yeah. And how about Graham Gano?
But the thing is, if they only award it to one running back, Derrick Henry is definitely
Barkley leads the league in rushing, though.
Well, Henry threw a touchdown pass tonight.
Did he?
Yeah.
Don't take it away.
And he ran all over Green Bay.
And I know Chubb's having a big year too, but don't take it away from Barkley. Matthew, he says if Jones had a true number 1 or even a decent number 2, he'd be top 10 and not number 10. It's hard to say no. It's hard to say no that he wouldn't at least be a fringe top 10 if he had a number 1 wide receiver on this team right now.
Agreed.
It's hard to say no, because we had him at 14, 15, and that's with no wide receivers.
Right.
So it's hard to say no, Matthew. The quarterback position is very weak right now, but he's playing well.
He is.
SP, man, thank you very much, man. Majority of the time, Dak's stats are blown up. He threw like 400 yards against the Broncos last year, but like 225 of them came from losing by 25. I've gone over Dak before. If you look at Dak's stats, I love ragging on Dak, so I'm going to pull it up.
I like ragging on him too.
Anytime I get an opportunity to rag on an opposing team's quarterback. And listen, Dak's a good quarterback, okay? I'm not saying he's not. He's a good quarterback that was in an incredible situation. Yep. I forgot what year. I'm going to pull up a year. Okay, so this is a perfect example. Dak, I want to say 2019. Dak was always in a awful division, right, Baddog? Like the NFC.
Yeah, the NFC East was not good.
Like throughout, since he's been in the league, pretty much has been got. All right, so this is his 2018 season. If you just look at the season, he had a great statistical year: 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, a 99.7 QB rating. He threw for nearly 5,000 yards. So you look at his final stat line and you say, oh, my God, like his stats are great. He's on a great team, right? Break down the stats. Look at the game by game. 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. The New York Giants and the Washington, at the time, Redskins were probably the two worst teams in the NFL that year. I think Chase Young was the second pick, and we had the fourth pick with Andrew Thomas.
Yes.
Against the Giants that year, he had a combined 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. And against Washington that year, he had a combined 7 touchdowns and 1 interception. You take those 4 games, he had 14 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So outside of those 4 games, he had 16 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in the other 14 games.
Maybe for me, the thing.
And then he played Detroit, who had the third pick that year. He had 3 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Maybe, and I've probably gone over the stats about Dak too. Maybe for me, it's just the fact that he plays so well against us, and that's really what's embedded in my mind. And the fact
we were horrible.
Right, I know, but it just I watched him play against us a lot, and he beats us a lot outside of his rookie year. And the Dallas was always winning, and maybe I just take it for granted. I listen. Bad takes, I've had them, but the beginning of Daniel Jones' career, and I've been like this with Daniel Jones because I feel like his career has been like that. But there's a video on my page where I say Daniel Jones is going to be better than Mitch Trubisky. Well, I would say I was right. He was going to be better than Sam Darnold.
Mitch Trubisky.
I said he'd be better. This is Daniel Jones' rookie season. I said he'd be better than Sam Darnold. I said he'd be better than Dwayne Haskins, God rest his soul. Okay. And I said he'd be better than Dak Prescott. Philly 500 makes fun of that. Well, don't look now, but that gap between Dak and Daniel Jones is like this.
Oh, yeah.
It's this. And it's, smaller than my nose. Like that's how small that's gotten. So I think that by the end of their career, you never know. He may be. But I've had a lot of bad takes. But listen, man, I said that. And I said that when they came out of college. I remember doing a video talking about how Daniel Jones could be better than Dwayne Haskins. Everybody thought I was a lunatic. I just never thought Daniel Jones would get it right between the years. I'm glad that we have a coach that gets the best out of him and gives him confidence. And it's a big difference.
Yeah. He's played very well this year. So already says, flying in from San Francisco for the Washington game, DJ for 2 more years. I think that's probably what we're looking at right now. At least 1 more year, but I think he's got a good chance of 2 more years at least. SP, man, thank you very much, man. I love that Slayton took a contract restructure. Didn't know if he'd be on the team, but yet he is our best wide receiver right now, and it's not close. Listen,
agreed.
Tip your cap to Darius Slayton. He may not be here next year. Decent chance he won't be. But tip your cap to Darius Slayton, man. He could have left easily. He could have signed somewhere else for more than what he signed here for if they took the restructure. He signed it for like less than $1 million.
Yep, it's like 900,000. I mean, he's like I said, that's the type of guy you want. That's a guy that puts the team first. That's a completely selfless act, and that's the type of culture that they've built here with the Giants. It said at the beginning of the year, #WBC, man, winning builds culture. Those are winning moves. Those are things like, hey, for the betterment of the team, I will take less money so we could get some other players in here and win some football games. That's what you like to see. These guys aren't about themselves. They're about the team first. And that's why they're 7-2. You look at the roster, we're not, no one's looking at our roster going, ooh, that's a dangerous roster. But they win, and it's because they play for one another, and each man knows their job, and each man does their job. They don't do too much. They're not out there. If they make a mistake, they're not out there pointing fingers and getting each other's faces. You don't hear anything about, arguments between the coaches. And one thing Patricia Train has said that I think is fantastic is that the coaches listen to the players. And when you as a player have the confidence to go up to your coach and say, hey, I don't like this. I'd rather do this. And he says, okay, we'll do it your way.
Yeah.
I think
and that was the MO with Dable. You go back and look what they said about him in Buffalo. That was always his reputation. And I think that's what he's brought to this team more than anything else is belief in his players. And I think that makes the players want to play harder for him. They love Dable. You could just see it. They freaking love
and Dable loves them.
I remember before the year started, I was watching it's a smaller YouTube channel, but it was a pretty watched video because it was I think they're like friends with Saquon Barkley and they started a podcast and Barkley did an interview with them talking about his comeback and how he was going to blow up this year. And in that interview, before the year started, I started saying to myself, this guy really believes in Brian Dable. It was a really good interview, and he kept going on and on about the culture that Dable was bringing to the locker room and how it felt like he was back at Penn State again, how it didn't feel like it was a bunch of professionals anymore. It was a team environment that he was bringing to the New York Giants. And that's when I started to say to myself, all right, I like hearing that. And you could really see that these players love playing for him.
Yeah. We have to start getting some players on this show.
That'd be cool. That'd be
cool. We got to get Barkley. We got to get Barkley on this show.
We might get a former player soon. I mean, Carl Banks retweeted me, so maybe I get him on the channel soon. We'll see. That'd be
really cool.
LeCap, he says, something told me Andrew Thomas would be mid, then good in 2022. Well, I'm glad you were right. I mean, I neither one of us ever stopped believing in Andrew Thomas. I mean, there were people 5 games in that were saying he was the next Eric Flowers.
Well, I remember probably like 4 games in, I never said he was a bust, but I was like, God, because he was really bad. And I was like, God, did we miss again? Because at the time it looked like we missed because Barkley was hurt and Jones wasn't playing well. And we were bad. I'm like, oh God, did this happen again?
Yeah.
But I never gave up on the guy. I wasn't like, oh, he is a bust. Like people are saying Kayvon Thibodeau's a bust already.
Yeah.
You know how that goes.
The Kayvon thing's ridiculous. Kayvon's playing well. I know he doesn't have sacks, but he's playing well. And Wink even came out today and talked about how good he's playing. I get that people just look at the sack numbers, but you don't think like Dexter Lawrence playing as well as he does has anything to do with Kayvon?
Just think we haven't had Azeez Ojulari all year. Either.
Yeah. He's a rookie, and they're asking him to do more than just rush the passer.
Azeez Ojulari is healthy.
Dude, you think about this pass rush when Kayvon develops further, because I think they're going to extend Leonard Williams, by the way, next year. Because Leo's due to make $32 million against the cap next year. I think the Giants are going to extend them and spread out the money. Probably. I really believe that. And if you keep Leo and you keep Dex, you get Kayvon to mature and you get Azeez Ojulari to mature, holy crap.
Yeah.
Holy crap. Then you're cooking with fire, man.
I think so too.
Then you're cooking with fire. Like the potential for this pass rush is really good. Really good.
Yeah. We haven't seen it. It reminds me a lot of 2011 where we did not see Tuck Umanura and JPP on the field the entire season together until week 17 against Dallas when we won the division. And then obviously the defense really took over in the playoffs and they were all healthy. So it's my hope, that they get McKinney back, that he's healthy, Azeez is healthy, Ojulari, and everybody's healthy on defense.
I can't wait for that. David says Arch Manning will be our next quarterback, karma. I mean, that'd be a cool story. Listen, man, I hope Danny Jones is our quarterback.
Well, let's see how he does.
Arch. Yeah, let him go to where was it?
Texas, right?
Where was it?
Isn't it Texas?
I think it was Texas. That's what I was going to say.
So he's
Texas.
going to be playing in the SEC. So we'll get because Texas is going.
Doesn't Texas have they have a pretty big quarterback, right? I think he was originally at Ohio State. Now he's with Texas. What's his name? He's got the long blonde hair.
I can't remember his
name. But obviously, Arch is going to take over for him quickly, you would think. He's the number one prospect, I think, in high school football. But listen, I mean, that'd be a great story. I hope everything works out with DJ. I want him to be the next Eli. I want him to be the quarterback for the next 10, 15 years. If all goes according to plan.
I want our reaction to be on America's game.
Yeah.
There should be a lot of
but having I mean, if we were going to draft a quarterback, how cool would that be to get Peyton's son to be the quarterback for the Giants? Misleading story says in 2019
Ewers is the guy. That's who they're thinking about.
What did you say?
Quinn Ewers is
Quinn Ewers. Yeah,
I have to hit the head real quick. This is what happens when you drink a lot of Coca-Cola. I'll be right back.
I think he was with Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken, last year, and he transferred to Texas. He's not as good as I've heard, at least from what I've watched. He's got a good arm, but I've watched a few of his games. He hasn't really impressed me this year when I've watched him. Misleading story, man. Thank you very much, man. In 2019, Dak threw 11 touchdowns, 8 interceptions against all teams that drafted outside the top 5 in the 2020 draft. 19-3 against those teams. Dude, Dak is... Cowboys fans will never admit it, but Dak's good. I'm not saying he's bad. He's good. But it was a mistake to give him a massive contract. He was a guy that was put in quarterback heaven, had the best offensive line in the sport, had the best running back in the sport for a period of time, or one of the best, and he had incredible weapons. And yeah, he's never been a guy that's been able to beat good teams. Tom, man, thank you very much, man. Low-key, Zimenez has been extremely underrated for us on defense this year. O'Shane Zimenez has been great for us this year. Jihad Ward's been great for us this year. I mean, give him his flowers too. He's been great at setting the edge, and we've had so many players today. He's another guy that's a free agent. I don't think
I like Ward a lot.
Yeah, Ward's been great.
I like Ward a lot.
He fits
high energy guy.
Yeah, he fits wing scheme so well. He's been great for the Giants. We're gonna close this out in a couple minutes, but having so much fun with you guys tonight, man. You guys always make these streams so much fun. Amazing guy says yeah. Let's see what we got. Set up Collins. I suggested a month ago. Yeah, maybe we will start. Maybe we will start doing those soon. It's got to be organized though, because if we start having video callers, it gets sloppy. And maybe an organized a couple of call-in guests. Maybe we'll do something like that in the near future. Nat, man, thank you very much, man. There's no stat that quantifies effort except wins. You can have no stats, but if the effort is there, you will get the W's. Only stat that matters. I mean, from a team perspective, 1,000%. Nat, I don't care how you win. Just get the win. And it's an interesting conversation. I'm not calling the guy dumb or anything, but I got into a conversation today with a guy on Twitter, and you actually retweeted the thing that I'm going to refer to. Now, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about a guy that answered off the tweet. But a guy tweeted yesterday that he would rather the Giants be 5-4.
I mentioned that earlier.
And have the Giants average 30 points a game. Yeah. Now, not that
was a bad take.
Which is a horrible take. Not him. But a guy commented off of that and said that he could kind of see where he's coming from and talked about how he would rather that the New York Giants put Daniel Jones in a situation where he has to throw so we could find out what he could be as a quarterback this year rather than having a developmental year. And he said it would be important for players to develop in that aspect. And in my opinion, that's not putting the players in the best situation because we're not built to play that way. And to me, I said to him, what's going to help you develop better? If the team's 3-8 or 3-6 or whatever, like the Lions, for example, who are 3-6, what's going to make the players want to come in and work harder? If the team's 7-2 or if the team's 3-6, if you play a certain way to find out what your quarterback is, the younger players are going to be much more incentivized, much more excited to come into work if the team's 7-2 than if they're 3-6. You always play to win. Winning is always going to help further develop every single player on your roster. Always. You're much more excited to come into work when the team's 7-2 than when the team's 3-6.
Yeah, I talked about that before. The players, obviously, they're human at the end of the day. When you go to the field, when you go to the locker room, when you're getting ready to suit up and play, and you have no chance to win, are you going to give your best effort? Of course not. When you feel you have a chance to win every game, you're going to give your best effort. They should always give the best effort. They're professionals, and that's what they're supposed to do. They get paid tens of millions of dollars to do that, but there is a human element to it at the end of the day. We can look at Kenny Galladay and say, listen, the guy doesn't play with any heart. He doesn't concentrate. Something's going on there, but he's our highest paid guy.
I think it's
and
mental.
He's been a big disappointment. So, yeah, to me, developing players, we've watched Daniel Jones develop. We've seen Daniel Jones improve and take a massive step up. It doesn't need to be statistically all the time.
Yeah.
Watch the way he plays. The numbers, who cares? When they ask him to do things, he's been able to do them.
Yeah.
So what would you say? I don't know if did you put this on Twitter about the interception rate? About there's been like a couple quarterbacks.
Yeah. Daniel Jones this year has an interception percentage of 0.8%. And I think Brady actually is 0.5%.
Brady just threw one too. It is the first time in 399 that he threw one Sunday. I remember seeing that stat.
Yeah.
That was almost a record.
Since 2017, there's only been one quarterback that has played an entire season and has had an interception rate under 1%, and that's Aaron Rodgers. He did it 3 separate times, but he's the only quarterback that's done it since 2017. And right now, more than halfway through the season, Daniel Jones has an interception rate under 1% at 0.8%.
Yeah. So tells you all you need to know. He's taking care of the football. And I've always said his potential is a rich man's Alex Smith. That Alex Smith was, again, not a guy that threw for 5,000 yards, but he did make mistakes and he won football games. And I'm okay with that.
Listen, at the end of the day, Baddog, that's probably more. Obviously, you want your quarterback to put the team on his back when he needs to. But that's probably the most important thing a quarterback could do is take care of the football. Go back and look at the Baltimore Ravens game. Why did we win? Because Daniel Jones took care of the football and Lamar Jackson didn't.
Correct.
That's why we won the game. Deep late into that game with 5 minutes to go. Who made the turnover? What decided that football game?
Yep.
So
Lamar Jackson.
That is the most important thing for a quarterback to do. Make sure you take care of the football. And this year, nobody's been doing it better than Jones.
Correct.
So he's played well.
Definitely.
Played well. What's going on, DQ man? Thanks for popping in, man. What's going on in Afghanistan? And by the way, and I saw amazing guys say this, DJ only has one real interception to turn. Yeah, game 1 against Saquon. The other one still fell on a route. Yeah, and neither one of his fumbles are his fault either, by the way. And by the way, he's only fumbled twice all year. Imagine saying that after his rookie year. He had what? How many fumbles in his rookie year? It was ridiculous.
19? I think he had 19 fumbles.
In 12 starts.
Yeah.
He's only put the ball on the ground twice this year. One of them was a Hail Mary before the half, which I don't even count.
Yep.
Right? Because
we talked, I think it was against Baltimore, and I think we talked about, Chrissy fumbled. They're all going to be, look at him fumble.
I don't even count that.
That's what I'm saying. Stats don't matter.
There's like 0 seconds.
His other fumble, he hit his back foot. He got crushed.
And that was the
blind side.
And it was on the interior blind side, so he got there even quicker than it would on the left side. Azudu got smoked before Jones even hit his back step. And you're talking about a quarterback who probably puts himself more in harm's way in terms of having fumbles because he runs, right? More often than not, those guys are probably going to have more fumbles than quarterbacks who stay in the pocket. So he's done a tremendous job in terms of taking care of the football this year, and he deserves a lot of credit for that. And that's as big of a reason why we're 7-2 as anything else.
Awesome. He's been everything that a Giants fan should expect him to be. Like 2 years ago or last year, everybody wanted to get rid of him, and that's fine. But those people, did they think that? Did people just think all of a sudden he was going to throw for 5,000 yards? Like it's just not feasible. You take little steps at a time. He's got no talent around him.
Yeah. It's baby steps. And I appreciate it, Coulter, man. Just saw that. But guys, we're going to close this out, man. I thank you to everybody. Thank you guys for all the continued support. I'd stay on till 3 if I could, but I got work tomorrow. So thank you to everybody for always tuning into the live streams, always having fun with us. I'm really looking forward to calling the game this Sunday. I'll probably go live Saturday if I can. Maybe we'll see the night before. If not, you'll definitely see me on here Sunday with Baddog at 1 o'clock for the 12:30 for the Lions game. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully we can continue our winning ways in a game in which I think we should win. Can't wait to call it with you guys. Can't wait to get to 8 wins. And I can't wait. I missed you guys last week. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys this week. And looking forward to calling it with Bad Dog. But Bad Dog, thanks for coming on, man.
My pleasure, as always. I say it all the time. It's my favorite thing I do on YouTube. It is amazing the growth that this has gone through. And it just
good luck, Toba. Sorry, Bad Dog.
Oh, that's all right. You always need luck on the exams.
Yeah.
But it is something to see what this show has become. And I absolutely love it. I love being able to talk Giants with you, Chris, like every week. And obviously the chat. It's been a lot more fun. It's always fun, but it's obviously been a totally different dynamic this year. We're talking about victories and talking about the playoffs and talking about we're going to win this. To go into weeks going, we can win. Like we have a legit chance. And it doesn't matter who we play. We play Philadelphia, we're like, we can beat these guys. Haven't really had that feeling. So it is just, it's just such a different dynamic. It feels so good to be calling football games and doing talk shows for a winning football team. And that's why you guys and girls are fantastic, because even when we were losing, you were here. And that says a lot about the character of the fan base and the fact that maybe we were pissed off, but never stopped watching them. So a lot of other fan bases. And again, I've been on YouTube a long time. I've seen other fan bases completely disappear in this division without question. When their teams are bad, they run for the hills. And that's not this fan base. So a lot of respect. Love the Giants fans. And I love this show, man. Appreciate all the support you guys and girls show us week in and week out. It means the world to us. In the spring, the draft is always a lot of fun.
Always.
So
I'm just glad we're not thinking about it yet.
No, well, we're still talking about it, but yes.
In years past, we start talking about it already.
We have playoffs to look at now.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm not even really thinking about the draft until probably February this year. In years past, we were thinking about it by now. So,
definitely Halloween.
Yeah, so it feels good not to be thinking about that right now.
Yeah.
And we will see you on Patty tomorrow. We're gonna be on there tomorrow, Davey.
Yes, we will.
I don't 7:30 usually, right?
Yeah,
but guys, again. Have a great rest of your night. Raphael says very excited for the playoff. Dude, playoff stream is going to be lit. But, guys, have a great rest of your night. Thank you to everybody for being here. Bad Dog, close it out.
Yeah, once again, guys and girls, appreciate you being here. Sunday is right around the corner. We're looking to go 8-2, and hopefully that's what we do. Thank you for all the support you always show us. Appreciate it. Great stream tonight. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. See you tomorrow on Patricia Train's channel. Come on over there and hang out with Chris, and Patricia, and we will.
What's her new saying again? It's
for the dog Tana, and for the dog Tana, this is Patricia Traina. I think that's what it is.
It's got a good run. It's got a good ring to it.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna bring the index cards tomorrow.
Yes, bring the index cards, bro. All right, guys, be good. Chris and I are gonna get some sleep, and we'll see you next time for the Entertainment Talking Sports. This is a Bad Diggity Dizzle. We gone. Peace.